What is up, podcast people, podcast universe? We are here again for another episode of Ramez Radio, and this is episode 10. But before we get into the show, allow my wonderful co-host to introduce himself. Talk to the people.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Undead Enigma 9, and we back again for episode 10. I can't believe Ramez didn't take the low-hanging fruit, but I will. He had it right there. He set himself up for it, and he didn't take it.
Hey, man. I don't know. I'm in a vibe today, bro. It's
10 episodes and a special. I'm excited.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this gonna be a good episode. Man,
This is the important one that everybody's waiting for.
I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. This is gonna be a crazy one when it's dropped. But
before we get into that, we got a couple topics that we gotta deal with.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you have anything to say before we get into it?
I just want to thank everybody for their consistent support. You know, everybody who comes and checks out every other week to come listen to the podcast, comments on the YouTube, comments in the YouTube section. You know, all of that support just really means a lot to us. We kind of started this podcast as something to be able to express ourselves and just like a fun way for us as content creators to like get our opinions on some of the things that are going on like currently that we're interested in just out there. And it's obviously not everything. We don't have enough time to talk about everything that we think about, but we just appreciate the people who want to tune in and actually like get a glimpse into the inner machinations of our strange minds, you know?
True. Thank you to everyone that's been listening, bruh. Like, you know, seems like we have we're slowly starting to build up the listener base a little bit by bit. So it's really nice to see that. We are putting some consistency in. We've been putting consistency in terms of just uploading and, you know, just staying with it. And so hopefully it's only good to come, only up from here. Other than that, a few days ago or maybe a week ago, it was John Cook's birthday. So happy birthday to John Cook. Hey man, shout out to him, bro. I don't know how old he turned. I don't know.
He's 1 year older than us, so 24.
Oh wow, okay.
97.
Shout out to John Cook. That's my guy right there.
That's my guy.
Hey man. Okay, I'm gonna stop with the foolishness. Okay. So, First topic. This was a heated one, and it's crazy that this is just like almost like a throwaway topic. That just shows you how crazy that this episode is. But on Twitter, there was
always
a hashtag.
On Twitter.
Yeah, always on Twitter. Twitter is the riot. That's the pitchfork army. But regardless, on Twitter there was a hashtag trending, hashtag a day off Twitch. There were, I don't know how many supporters, but there were a number of number of streamers that were taking the day off of streaming. I believe this was,
I can get into this a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't remember what day it was exactly.
Neither do I. It was sometime last week, but what I do remember about the situation is that it's basically in response to the fact that Twitch still hasn't done anything to address the botting problem that minority creators were facing, and like getting like their streams rated by bots and spammed with like racist and hate comments. And the reason why I wanted to put this on the show notes was because I think that it's interesting that we, like the last time that we talked about that situation, we were trying to give, it was more so me than you, but we were trying to give Twitch the benefit of the doubt and saying they just got on this problem. They said that they're going to address it, give them a little bit of time. But it's been a little bit of time now. It's been like almost a month at this point, maybe a little bit over a month by the time that this episode comes out, and it's still a problem. So I kind of really wanted to put this on here to put Twitch on blast, because I didn't take the hashtag day off Twitch boycott, but I just didn't stream in general that day. Like I just didn't have any time or any plans to stream. But I think that it was a good thing at this point, and I definitely have to commend the streamers for coming together and sticking to their guns, and I have to reprimand Twitch because I gave them a lot of leeway previously, and I said like it wasn't a big deal because they're getting on it, but they definitely have let it sit for way too long.
Yeah, I feel like if this was YouTube would have definitely at least done something to like try and combat it. This ultimately just goes back, circling the point that I continually preach on because I will not stop. I will continually say this. Twitch has a horrible infrastructure. They do not care about this platform. They only care about money. This is what a subsector of Amazon and their, I guess you would call it, what, their digital sector, because they have like Amazon web services. So yeah, this is honestly just a little sector of Twitch, of Amazon, that just makes them a little bit of money. They keep it caking. They don't care.
AWS is their cloud servicing thing. It's like a hosting platform.
Yeah, but like I mean, like in like their digital space, like the stuff that they do regarding like online.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean now. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's cool. But yeah, I will continually say it. Twitch has a horrible infrastructure. They do not care about the platform. They don't care about the creators.
I was hearing from I can't confirm or deny this. I heard this from TBH, but the old like CEO of Twitch, I guess, or like the person who was running it since it like for the past little bit, apparently he like silently stepped down, and Amazon's gonna be like putting their hands in like a little bit further into the pie when it comes to Twitch, because Twitch doesn't really make that many money in the first place. And like TBH never said that this was like insider information that he got or anything. He just said like he noticed that the guy who was the CEO or whatever took it out of his bio and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's looking like we might see some changes to Twitch, and they're not going to be for the content creators, I'll tell you that much, so that Amazon can make their bread.
Yeah. I don't know. Regarding the actual hashtag and the whole matter itself, because I could go on forever about Twitch and its failures, its multiple failures over the past, I would say 3 to 4 years. But regarding the actual matter itself, I would say Twitch as itself, like the actual community, they have no solidarity. So firstly, it wouldn't even make sense to really participate in this hashtag, because you're gonna have a lot of creators that won't stand with you, because if you know how Twitch is really and truly, like if you actually understand how some of the communities on Twitch work, they genuinely don't care if it's not their creator. Like it's kind of a different feeling on YouTube. Not saying that YouTube is all kumbaya and everyone loves everyone on YouTube, but like usually on YouTube, a lot of the movements that are on YouTube, like it's a lot more solidarity between the creators. Twitch, it's like, if it's not affecting me, I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't know, but this is a little different because it affects Black creators.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is a
little different.
How many creators in general have you seen like stand in solidarity, like big creators stand in solidarity with like this hashtag?
A decent amount of them have like whined about it on Twitter, if you want to call that being like in solidarity. But in terms of like the actual participating in the boycott, like I said, I have no idea. I wasn't actually paying attention on that day. I just didn't end up streaming because I just didn't stream.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's just something that's like ingrained in Twitch's culture. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a platform. I guess because the whole platform itself is just segregated in the way that it how would I say this? It's segregated in the way that it looks at the creators. So I don't really see the same things that, like, for example, like how 2K YouTube, all of 2K YouTube, they got that 2K what was it? Make 2K great again. Like you would never see something like that on Twitch. Like Twitch creators don't do that.
I would argue that this was the start of something.
I guess you could say. I guess you could say
It's
it
gotta
was a start
start
something.
somewhere.
Yeah,
It's gotta
it's
start somewhere.
yeah. I guess you could say it was a start, but I don't know, man. It just, to me, I even said it on Twitter. I was like, bro, it doesn't make any sense to even do this because Twitch, like, they don't care. Like, they've shown that they don't care. It's very hard to even like start the movements like these. But even though it's hard, you know, it's worth doing. But as I said, like, it just doesn't make sense for me or, you know, any of the other streamers that I know to actually participate in this. But I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. Maybe I'm a little pessimistic, but
I mean, I get what you mean. It's more like, it's less about participating in it and more just like
getting it out
it's
there.
the idea, like it's the idea of having it and like continuing to voice your opinions to Twitch about how little they're doing and how bothersome that is to you.
Yeah, I understand why it's there though. I understand why they're doing it. It's just, man, Twitch is just showing that they're so incompetent, like continually. So it's like, it's really it's just an uphill battle, but I understand why they're doing it. Get it out there, you know. Hopefully we just see Twitch do better though. I think that's just the overall takeaway from this, is that we just hope we see Twitch do better.
Yeah, that's what we all ask for, and that's what we all want. We want Twitch to actually like make an effort to make this place hospitable for their content creators. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you is, this is like the 100 millionth time that people have said this, but like a lot of people are going back to YouTube to stream exclusively. Why do you think that streamers keep, whenever they get upset with Twitch, going to YouTube and like folding and coming back to Twitch at the end of the day?
I'll tell you because I've done it personally. I've had like a whole stint where like it was like 2 weeks maybe, I was like streaming on YouTube. And one thing I find is that I feel like it's just something different, and sometimes it's hard to get your community to want to go to another platform. Like for instance, if you're like Ninja or if you're like Dr. Disrespect, where it's like your community is so large that it's like, you know what, it kind of would make sense for me to move over. Then, you know, you move over. But I feel like if you're a smaller creator or like a mid-sized creator, it's really hard to get your community to like move over. And plus it's like a different ecosystem. There's different ways to use YouTube than there is Twitch. So it's like it's a lot of differences, and maybe they're not seeing like the amount of viewers that they would usually see on Twitch. So they're like, you know what, this is not like a fiscally sound idea to start to just solely stream on YouTube. So those were the problems that I saw, at least.
I think that those are all very fair concerns to have, but here's what I'll say. Being in the Twitch partner program pigeonholes you in the first place. Like, you're not allowed to stream on other platforms when you're a Twitch partner.
Yeah.
So it really makes it hard for you to diversify your portfolio and kind of like expand your options. But you don't ever want to sit on one platform, because that platform kind of like dictates and tells you what you can and cannot do on it at any point in time. At the end of the day, these are private companies, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You want to kind of like spread out your content as much as you can, and it's going to take time, of course, for like your audience to come over and your audience to see value in watching your content on another platform, and for new people will also start discovering your content as well. So I think that while you have the option to do it, you should try.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm saying. Like, I feel like content creators should make like a genuine push. Like, eventually I'm actually gonna try and make a genuine push to start streaming on YouTube. But you know, I feel like, yeah, you just have to
YouTube.com/itsramis.
Yeah, for sure. YouTube.com. Well, it's not it's Ramis. I still don't have the custom URLs yet. But
no way.
Yeah, we don't have them yet. But yeah. it just has to be a genuine concerned push to actually take up the new platform. You remember when the Black Hokage, back when he was still Modern War Negro, he used to stream on this platform called Hitbox.
I do remember Hitbox.
Yeah.
I just think that Hitbox didn't have enough features or enough support.
Yeah, it definitely didn't. No. But I mean, it was still like at the time where Hitbox was still a thing, it definitely still had a chance to like be up there with Twitch, because Twitch still wasn't even close to where it is now.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah,
that's 100%
so
facts.
I feel like if they had just put in like more of a genuine push, they definitely could have been up there today.
But then it also goes into the question of like how much it costs to operate the business and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I have to assume that that's what the problem was. Because even like Mixer made more of a push than any other application to actually try and combat the growth of Twitch,
yeah,
by like paying creators to come over, and even then it cost so much money that they just couldn't sustain it, and it just wasn't viable, and Microsoft basically pulled the plug on it. But also Microsoft pulled the plug on a lot of projects, so
yeah,
that's a pretty normal thing for them. It's pretty par for the course.
I feel like if it was anyone, it could have been Mixer, because Microsoft has the resources to keep a platform like that going. But yeah, they probably just didn't care about it that much. Like it, because I heard that Twitch is not like really a profitable business.
It's not
yet.
Profitable at all right now.
Yeah, it's not profitable yet. So Microsoft was probably sitting there being like, yeah, you know, we make billions of dollars a year, but like we losing maybe a few $100 million on this, a few tens of millions on this, because I from what I understand, from what I've heard, it's very expensive to run a platform like Twitch. So take that as you will. They really had the best chance to really make it, but they didn't really want to. But yeah, they need some real competition. They definitely do.
I agree, but it's also like, damn, can I even say that when it's so expensive to try to run a website like that? Like,
yeah,
what can Twitch? I can sit here and say that competition breeds excellence, and be like, oh, competition's gonna make Twitch start doing this and start doing that. But if they can't afford it, then it is what it is. They're not gonna start just like adding features that they can't afford. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's very conflicting.
Yeah, we're just in a weird place. Like, I feel like the least that Twitch could do is just actually care about their creators. I feel like that's the thing. I feel like a lot of the fixes they wouldn't even have to put in a lot of money. Like, just first of all, they need to stop letting people do like bot reporting. They need to stop that. They need to find some way to curb that, because the amount of channels that have gotten like banned because of bot reporting it's ridiculous. They need to find a way to curb that. Second of all, they need to have a clear guidelines. They need to have clear guidelines of like what creators can and can't do, because we've even seen like with the hot tub controversy, like Twitch is like for certain things they care, and for certain things they'll just let it slide. So they need to have clear guidelines of like, what is this website, what you can do and can't do on the website. Because I don't know. As I said, I could go forever on this, but we have a long show, so I don't even feel like talking about this. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, mentally, I don't know what more I could think of for Twitch and come up with to give them the answers on how to fix this. So I mean, it's in their hands now. The ball is in your court, Twitch. Let's go.
It's draining, bro. But let's just move on to the next topic. Something cool, something interesting that wet my whistle?
Oh my god. Yeah, that's the term.
So the game, this is a highly divisive game, I would say, later on into its series, but Saints Row, it was once handled by, I want to say, THQ Nordic, I want to say.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, their studio, the studio that they were handled by got shut down. They weren't making any games, but now they're getting brought back, and they are making a new Saints Row. So we did get a trailer, and this trailer we got to see, it was kind of like, I was talking to Enigma before we started the show, and it kind of gave me like a cyberpunk vibe, but like more cartoony a little bit, just because like the way they decided to put the lighting makes it like super cartoony, I guess. But very interesting trailer, to say the least. How do you feel about this Saints Row coming back?
Okay. So here's the first thing that I'm gonna say. I actually heard about this a couple weeks ago over on my Twitch stream over at twitch.tv/UndeadEnigma9, which you should really go check out, because you know Tales of Arise drops Friday, September 10th, so it's probably out by the time that this episode is already out, and I'm probably going to be streaming it.
True.
Anyways, I say all that to say that one of our amazing supporters that we mentioned a couple times on this, Yeez, he pulled up to my stream and he put me onto this and let me know that this was coming out. And when I heard that Saints Row was getting a remaster, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't really like pique my brain at all. Like, I didn't really react to it. I was like, oh, Saints Row? I mean, I guess. But after watching this CG trailer, I can see that they're putting a lot of effort into the marketing for it, at least, or at least it looks that way, because this trailer was animated very well. It was a completely like CG animated, no gameplay type trailer, but it looked very nice. And if the art style for the game is going to be like this, then I think that it has good potential, because Saints Row has always been a very cool and interesting franchise. When I was growing up, I always looked at it as sort of a sort of a Grand Theft Auto competitor, but it never quite measured up to the level and the size of Grand Theft Auto. But I think that there's still a core fan base that really loves it. So I think that it can do well. I think it's an interesting announcement. I don't know. I don't want to say whether I'm like excited for it or I'm not really excited for it. That's what I will say. But maybe if I see some gameplay in the next like reveal that they do or whatever, maybe I will be.
Wait, what'd you say? Sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Sorry, I said maybe if I see some gameplay in the next trailer that they release, maybe I will be.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I'm interested in it. It's interesting. I see that they're kind of leaning back into the whole gang affiliation, because I feel like as they went into like Saints Row 3 and 4, like that was kind of missing. That was not really like, it wasn't like what Saints Row used to be, but they're kind of leaning back into it now, because in the trailer you could see there's this gang of like really like brawlic people. I guess they're like the swole soldiers or something like that. I don't know, like soldiers,
swole boys. Yeah.
So they're really leaning into it, which is, it's nice to see. They're kind of bringing it back to the roots. I'm interested to see how this game does sales wise, because as you said, yeah, Saints Row does have like a cult fan base, but I feel like as Saints Row 3 and 4 came around, the core fan base wasn't really like feeling it too much, because it wasn't what they came to know Saints Row as. Because I do agree with you.
3 and 4 and like the DLC in and around that era really started to shift the tone of Saints Row, especially from the first two games, and it was very different. I get that. I can agree with that.
Yeah, it was a weird shift. Like
they went from being in the streets and it being all about gangs and stuff to being about like, first it was like about the president and all this stuff, and then aliens came and got involved. The Saints Row fans are going to eat me alive in the comments for not knowing exactly what happens in all of the Saints Row games, but I do know that aliens pop up.
Yeah,
that's when it gets wild, because this game was about gangs.
It's like the DLC, it literally takes you to like hell and shit. I don't know, it's like the latter half of that game series is really weird, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't like it, but it looks like they are starting to lean into their original roots again, because like the thing that really separated GTA and Saints Row is like that feeling of the gang, because you could always have like your gang members roll around with you in Saints Row. You could call them up. If you shot at another gang, it would start a gang war in the streets. Like, you'd be shooting at, like, I think that's what what people really liked about Saints Row.
Yeah,
is like
totally
the actual
agree.
affiliation. Like you're actually affiliated in a gang, and it really gives you the feeling of you are up against all those other gangs in the city, whereas GTA is more of just like there's a story, you're trying to complete the story, and the story might have some gang affiliation, but it's like the gang is not the focus. The character or characters in GTA 5 sense are the story. But
yeah,
I am interested. I don't know if I'm gonna get it day one, because as I said, I don't know how far they're going to lean into the original feeling of Saints Row, and I feel like that's ultimately what will dictate if I get the game or not. But I do have my eyes on it. It's on my radar, and I will be looking out for it when it does drop.
I think I'm in the same park. I'm gonna like pay attention a little bit. I'm gonna keep my ears open, but I have no plans on buying it day one for sure, or full price. Not at this point.
Yeah. I don't know why this game just made me want like Cyberpunk to come out with that next gen patch even more. I feel so bad to say it, but it made me want to.
Dude, I even forgot that mans are sitting around waiting on that. I think that game's moment has come and gone.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. It seems like there's still a lot of people that want to play the game that they are saying is going to come within the next like year. I think a lot of people still want to play it.
I'm not saying that people don't want to play it. I think it's going to be the same thing as No Man's Sky. I think that it's going to come out with a patch that's way better than the game on release, but like a tenth of the player base is going to be present to actually pay attention and play the game. It's the people who bother to actually stay and sit around long enough to see the fruits of their labor with
the patches and stuff like that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree. I don't know. I'm just waiting for it, but I don't know. I'm still waiting for that game to come out. But anything else to say about Saints Row before we go ahead and move on?
No, that's all I really gotta say. I mean, cool. Saints Row is coming back. We'll see what happens because it's not the same original team that's doing this one. So we just gotta see what happens.
Yeah, we just gotta look out for it. But are there any games you've been playing recently? Anything new?
Yo, I still have to finish Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've been on the last chapter for like a year and a half now, so you guys can crucify me for that in the comments. But I just haven't had time to sit down and like actually turn the game back on and play it. I've been kind of doing some of the challenge mode run stuff for Ratchet and Clank, but I already beat that game, so it's not really like I'm playing anything new. I'm just replaying it.
I feel you. Same thing for me. It's just I've been kind of playing LA Noire still. LA Noire a little bit. Game.
Yeah.
What you say?
I remember. Sorry, I said. Oh yeah, I just remembered that you were in the middle of that LA Noire stint.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Oh my gosh, the phone is ringing again. But yeah, LA Noire. That's a game that I'm really. I would say like it's a game that I really like, and I feel like I wouldn't say it's a game that was slept on, because when the game came out, I feel like people were really talking about it. But that's a game that
you were just a little bit late to the party.
Yeah, little. I'm very late to it. I would say I'm very late to it. But yeah, that's a game that I'm really into. Another game that I'm really playing, I mean, it's nothing special, but like Fortnite. I never really like said this on the podcast, but like if you know, like if you're in streams or like you just know in general, you know that like ever since I would say chapter 2 season 5, I've really gotten back into that game heavy again. I don't know, they've just found a way to make it fun for me, so I've really just been playing Fortnite, you know, unlocking the Rick and Morty, the Rick skins, the Rick and Morty Rick skins. So that's pretty
Fortnite
much it.
Morty.
Yeah,
I'm Fortnite Rick. God damn.
Yeah, but did you see that Rick and Morty got like a live action trailer? Just mentioning it quickly before we move on. Did you see that
live action trailer?
Yeah, did you see it or no?
No, for what?
It's just like it literally just says on Adult Swim. It said live, like Rick and Morty live action.
I'm gonna like look it up.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that until I started talking about Fortnite, but it's I don't know. That's the thing with trailers nowadays.
I'm not here for this.
Yeah, that's the thing with trailers nowadays. You really don't know. Like, everything could be so.
Is it a movie?
I don't know.
It's a movie.
Is it a movie?
It's the first result for the trailer comes up on movie trailer source, so I'm gonna assume that it's for a movie.
Yeah, because I didn't know if it was for a movie or if it's for like they're doing like a
if they're doing a live action, like, okay, a special would be fired, but like if they're trying to do like a live action series, no, I'm not here for it. If they're gonna do something where they're gonna take the cartoon characters and make them go through a portal that brings them to like quote unquote the real world, then bet I'm here for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I'll look out for it. Adult Swim. It was a trailer on Adult Swim, so I feel like it might be an Adult Swim like movie.
Adult Swim is where Rick and Morty plays.
Yeah, but like I don't mean like it's gonna be like a movie that drops in like theaters. Like I think it's gonna be like.
I get what you mean. It's gonna be not direct to DVD, but the same type of thing. Like it's gonna play on the channel.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. Yeah. That makes sense. I think they probably have a streaming service or something, but it's probably US only. I don't use a VPN to change my location.
Yeah.
I use a VPN just not to change my location, so I don't really check that stuff.
Oh, I don't even, if it's on Adult Swim or not, I have my special Adult Swim channel.
Chop out the bandwidth.
Allegedly. So, yeah. But enough about the gaming section. We're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. A lot has happened in the last, week and a half?
Yeah, it's a big chungy wongy, especially when we move over to this music section of the podcast.
There's a lot.
We can shuffle this around a little bit, or we can shuffle around the order in which we talk about these, or we can mention all of them at once and then go one by one. I don't know. How are we gonna do this? But this is the big episode that everybody's been waiting on, where we finally give our takes on a certain 2 big albums that came out.
I guess we can actually cover it in the order that it's on the show notes, because this is kind of like the hyped order. Like, this is like the order of how each album was hyped, I feel, at least. So yeah, we could actually just start on Tekka. Just start on Tekka.
So, the first album that we're gonna talk about is the one that I personally feel got shafted the most. Lil Tecca put out a project about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Titled We Love You Tecca 2. And god damn, is this not one of his best albums to date. He got shafted by the release window so hard. Let's talk about it. What did you think about We Love You Tecca 2? Did you have an opportunity to listen to the album? Because I think everybody knows that I loved it.
I listened to the album, and this is what I'll say about it.
I'm gonna look up the first week sales.
Yeah, look it up. I don't know what he sold first week. Think about it now. That would be a good thing to look at.
It's somewhere around 30K, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't very good. It was in and around the same as Virgo World, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to find the actual. Where's the actual? Well, that's crazy. I'll find it eventually. Keep going.
Yeah, the thing about this album, I kind of feel so. There's a few aspects to before we even get to the album. Tekka just dropped at a really bad time. I'm not making an excuse, but he dropped at a really bad time, and I feel like that stunted not only the sales but the public reception of the album. I feel like it was kind of just lost in the wind in terms of everything else that was coming out at the time. Tekka on this album, he comes with some energy, and I really like the energy that he comes with. Me and Enigma were talking about this actually before we started the show, but I really do like the second half. The second half is really good. I'll talk about the songs that I really liked a lot, like the songs that really stuck out to me. Obviously, Money on Me, but that had dropped before. Repeat It, that had dropped before, but I still like those songs. Never Left, that dropped before, but I still like that song. Choppa Shoot the Loudest, Chief Keef and Trippie Redd. I feel like that song is a banger. That song is gonna go crazy. I feel like that would be one of the songs that like it could kind of grow on people and really like go past the album. That could probably be a song that didn't release before that goes past the album, kind of like how Never Left or Repeat It did. About You, Lil Tecca and Nav, that's a good song. That was a pretty good song. Bank Teller with Lil Yachty and Tecca. That song really gets me excited. I've talked about this album like maybe 2 or 3 times already on the podcast, but Lil Yachty and Tecca, they're supposed to drop an album. That really got me excited for that, because that's just the energy they have together is really nice. Like, I really like it. And Whatever, I really like that song as well. A lot of good songs on this album. I just feel like, first of all, Tecca's like time in the limelight has kind of passed. What I will say, I kind of agree with that. It's like, he, like, part of the reason, like, his biggest hype wave and like moment was Ransom, and part of the enjoyment around that was the fact that like his image did not match with like what he was rapping about, and that can only carry you for so long. That can only go for so long. Yeah. See, and I think one of the knocks that people have for Tecca, which is actually weird. It's weird, but like, remember when Tecca had the whole thing where he said, when someone had asked him about the line where on Ransom where he's like, I got 2 twin Glocks, turn you to a dancer, and someone
I don't got no guns.
Someone asked him and he said, I got no guns. Yeah,
it's his Genius interview. Yeah, watch his Genius interview for Ransom, and did it again. He's just talking about the entire time. He's just like, every time he explains a bar, he's like, nah, I don't do that. I don't got no hoes. Girls don't be hitting my DMs. I got a whole ass girlfriend. Like, that's just him. It's funny as hell.
Yeah, like, but I feel like some people use that as a knock on him because, you know, now it's like
the music industry, in terms of the fan base, they don't know what they want. They be out here saying that they want rappers to be doing what they're actually saying in their raps and talking about freaking busting shots and all that. But then when mans get locked up and killed in the streets, they're like, there's too much violence going on.
Literally.
You guys need to chill out. Why you guys shooting each other? This, that, and the other. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't tell mans that they're not hard for actually living the things that they rap and then be upset when they actually go out and do those things, because that's what you're perpetuating. That's the narrative that you're constantly giving to them.
I just thought of an example, but I feel like people would kill me for it, so I'm just gonna keep it to myself. But yes, that is definitely true. That is definitely true. I feel like
I know the example that you thought about. Yes, absolutely.
I feel like people gonna kill me for it, but I'm just not gonna say it. I'm gonna stay silent.
They can imply what they want to imply.
Exactly, yeah. But regarding that, yes, I do feel like rap fans are definitely, they live in a state of, I don't want to call it hypocrisy because I don't want to be that harsh, but I would say a state of
contradiction,
confusion and contradiction. But yeah, as I said, music is an art form, so I have no problem with someone just doing something because it's good artistically or it sounds good artistically. So I feel like people do use that as a knock on Tecca, so that's why a lot of people have also I guess shied away from his music. But I feel like this was a good project and he needs to push this. And another I guess situation I really compare this to is when Yachty dropped Lil Boat 3. And if you remember what was happening that time last year, that was when a lot of like crazy political stuff was happening and no one was really listening to any music, like, at all. Everyone was pretty much glued to their TV, watching news channels. So it was a really weird time. And Yachty had already done, he did the rollout like months before. He didn't, like, none of this stuff was foreseen. He didn't know that any of this was gonna come up. But he stuck to his guns. He dropped the album. credit to him though. He dropped the album and stuck to his guns. He didn't push it back, but it did definitely hurt his sales, because I feel like Yachty could have gotten way higher sales if he didn't drop in the time that he did. Like maybe if he pushed it back like a month later, he definitely would have got a lot more sales, in my opinion. But I definitely feel like this is the same exact situation for Tekka, just because of the timing that he dropped this album in. It was a very, well, still is a very hectic time in music, because I'll get to this later on. I will get to this later on when we get to the other albums that I'm actually alluding to. But I think
it's gonna be in the title, so everybody's gonna know what we're talking about when they go to click on the episode. But you guys know exactly why Tekka's album got sandwiched between two of the most anticipated albums of this year.
So, you know, for me, I will say as like a first impressions rating, because I've only listened to like once, and then there's a few songs I've listened to, you know, that I like. I will say that off of first impression, I do like this album. I feel like Tekka has you can hear him growing and maturing, not in terms of like music content, but just in terms of like using different flows and trying, like, I like it. I like the album. I like the trajectory that he's going, and I really do see him going in like that Lil Yachty. Why'd I say little? That Lil Yachty sort of trajectory with his career, where he's not as big and popular and in the limelight that he was, but the fans that love Tekka are going to ride for Tekka, and his albums are going to stay either consistent, or he might get a little steps up here and there, because he has some fairly big features on this. He has Gunna on this, Trippie Redd, Chief Keef. Like, he seems like he has the industry really rocks with Tekka, but it's not translating to the actual listeners, I would say. I think that's what I will say.
Tekka, I don't know if you know this, but he produced Sofego's album.
Yeah, he made Angelic 7. He produced the whole thing.
Yes. So in terms of like, my homie said this to me actually yesterday. He was like, I like Tekka's production. Like, I think Tekka is way better producing than I think he is as a rapper. And I think that a lot of people have that preconceived notion, and a lot of people aren't like willing to give projects like this a shot. But this is more for like the modern era of music than I've ever seen, like, in a long time, in terms of like, it's all short and sweet for the most part, other than a couple feature tracks like the Nav track, the Gunna track, and the song with Chief Keef and Trippie Redd. Those are the 3 longest songs on the album. Everything else is pretty much completely under 3 minutes. Which just says a lot about people's short attention spans. So it's not gonna rock with the people who are out here like reviewing albums and stuff, because it's mostly like, I don't want to say old heads, but you know what I mean by that. Yeah, it's a lot of people who like want something with more substance, something a little bit longer. But I think that this appeals to the new demographic a lot better. I think that this translates really well. And I saved every song on the album except for Choppa Shoot the Loudest, and that's just because Choppa Shoot the Loudest is very much a Trippie Redd song that he just put Tekka and Chief Keef on.
Which I have no problem with. But yeah, I understand how that could be a gripe. I understand.
I don't particularly think that makes the song bad. It's just not. I came here for a Tekka album, so I like the Tekka songs. Yeah, I don't know how to put it any other way than that. Like, it's not a Tekka song.
It kind of reminds me of like how Travis Scott kind of comes on a song, and
yes,
you know it's a Travis Scott song.
You know it's a Travis Scott song. Yes,
that song literally just stands out. Like, a good example of that is If You're Reading This Is Too Late. You have the whole album, and then Company comes on, and Travis Scott is on it, and that's a totally different vibe.
Yeah, it's like a completely different song.
It's cool. Like, it kind of fits on the album, but you can tell like off the rip that's a Travis Scott song. So yeah, I understand exactly what you mean in that sense. But yeah, good album.
Yeah, overall, I think it was a solid album that, like we both said, came out at a terrible time for Tekka. It got sandwiched between 2 of the most anticipated albums of the year, like we said, and at a time when no one was really listening to music. There was a lot of riots and protesting going on, so people weren't really focused on it. I think that he needs to get himself a little bit more into like the media and mainstream and in more people's faces, and then more people will start to actually give Tekka a shot and will properly listen to his music. That's what I think, at least.
Tekka, okay, here's the thing.
I can't sit here and pretend like if you listen to the album, you missed a lot. I can't sit here and be like, oh, you need to listen to it again, and it just went over your head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's the case. But I think that a lot of people just didn't want to sit down and listen to it in the first place. And I think that this album is his best piece of work to date. It's better than both of his previous albums put together.
Yeah, true. I honestly, I agree with you on all those sentiments. The thing that I feel like would help Tekka, because I feel like Tekka hasn't gotten one. I keep comparing Tekka and Yachty in terms of career trajectory, but one thing that I will say about Tekka is I feel like Tekka has not had like a genuine mainstream push. So one thing I would say that Tekka should start doing is just start doing interviews. Start doing interviews. Start try to get yourself on, like try to do like a Jimmy Fallon thing, like just like, you know, like how they do those performances on the late night shows. Like I feel like Tekka should like genuinely go for a mainstream push, because I feel like he hasn't gotten it yet. I don't know, like Ransom was a big song for him, but you don't like, he wasn't like, I don't know, I didn't see him get that mainstream push like Yachty did in like 2016 and 17. So
no,
that's
100%. He just rode the wave off of the song trending.
Exactly.
That's 100% true. I get that.
But that's Tekka's vibe. Like for I feel like for Tekka to do that, he would have to fundamentally change the way that he sees himself.
Yeah, it's definitely a get out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like that's what it would have to happen. But yeah, I like the album. Keep doing what you're doing, Tekka. Yachty and Tekka dropped that.
We love you,
album.
Tekka.
I don't know what they're gonna call that album, but we do definitely love you, Tekka. Moving on to another album, though. I didn't really get to listen to this album, but
I want to talk on this one for a bit.
We could talk about it.
This album dropped the same week as Tekka's album, and all I want to say, since you didn't have a chance to listen to it, is I want all of the listeners, after you guys have really sat and digested and made your peace with the other two albums that are out, like that came out, because you guys know what we're talking about. We're going to talk about them soon. Once you guys have made your peace with that, go take a good listen to Belly's See You Next Wednesday. Please sit down and just give yourself a little bit of time. The album's not that long. I think it's, hold on, we're gonna find out right now how many tracks it is, so I don't lie to you guys. It is 15 tracks.
15?
So,
that's not bad.
Yes. So shorter than everything else that dropped. So please, if you have the time, just give it a shot. This album, from a production standpoint, from a substance standpoint, and from a vibe standpoint in general, just hit all the right notes for me. And personally, I think that it was the best album that's come out in the past 2 weeks, but we'll get into that when we get to talk about these other two albums that we have on our docket.
One thing I will always say about Belly regarding that whole vibe thing that you said, Belly always has like a really good vibe on his songs. Like I've never, like, that's the thing.
Belly is more songwriter than actual artist. Like he writes a lot of the EXO stuff. He's written for like Lady Gaga, Drake, a whole bunch of people. So that's more of what he does. But that's why whenever you actually like get a chance to listen to his songs, you hear a lot of what you've already. I feel like people kind of write Belly off because you hear a lot of what you hear in the industry already, but it's because he's out here writing a lot.
He's the one writing it. Yeah, it's interesting. I've never, like, that's the thing. I rock with Belly. I just honestly, I didn't even know that he dropped a project. That's the thing. I haven't seen anyone like really talk about it. I don't really like follow Belly closely, so I didn't really know that he was dropping a project. I will definitely go listen to it after this. I did hear one song. Well, no, that Weekend Young Thug song is on it, right? I forget what the song is called. That song is okay. That song's cool. And then I heard Requiem before we got on the pod. That song is cool. When Nav, it was a cool, like, that's the thing. Belly has he has a cool vibe, bro. he has a cool vibe, and I really rock with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the album is like a really good sound, because he from what I've heard previously from him, it seems like he takes pride in really having his sound down, which is something that I really have to respect.
I think that's a very specific remark and a very specific compliment, but I don't know if I particularly disagree. I think I agree with that. He definitely like understands the sound that he's trying to bring to the music industry. But I think that Belly is still a pretty experimental artist, and I think that especially in terms of production on this album, there was a lot going on.
Oh, so it's like a mismatch almost.
Yeah, I think that between listening to like the actual lyrics that are being said to you and actually absorbing everything that's going on in the background with like sampling and production and stuff, I think that this album has a lot going for it. And I will say, there's a second Weeknd song, but it has Belly, The Weeknd, and Nas, and that song is hard. So if that gives you any indication, he's got Benny the Butcher on here. So if that gives you any indication of what my man Belly is coming with this album, like, check it out. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to get too much into it because you haven't had the chance to hear it for yourself and formulate your opinion. But I would say to the listeners, if you have the opportunity, check it out for sure. Yeah,
definitely. Hey man, shout out to Belly, bro. Shout out to him. I really do gotta check that album out. After the pod, I'm gonna go listen to it. Like your general takeaway. Do you have like any other general takeaways regarding the album, or?
It bangs and it's worth your time, especially if you spent it on the next two albums. If you spent time on the next two albums that we're about to talk to, then this is worth your time. Those are my like final points.
Seems like it's like probably like a breath of fresh. What am I trying to say?
Fresh air?
A breath of fresh air in relation to these two albums, or even Tekka's album as well. Just different, different sound, I guess. That's what it sounds like you're explaining to me. But moving on, Donda.
Don't do this to me.
Donda.
I'm slipping again. The mental is cracking.
Hey man. Okay. So how do we even attack this? So before this album even came out, we had the initial rollout. Kanye, he had, I guess you would say, 3 different listening parties.
God.
And
damn, this was going on for a long time.
Yeah,
I forgot how long this was going on for.
I didn't get to watch the other 2 listening parties, but the first one I did stream it, and it was first of all, it was very rough because he, like, what he did before for, I want to say it was The Life of Pablo, I think what he played it in the stadium, and then like for the actual people that were watching the stream, you could actually, like, they play like a high quality version of the album. They did not do that with this. It was literally, they were just blasting it through the speakers in the stadium, and you were trying to kind of come up with what was being said. But I mean, even through that, I could tell that this was going to be a really good album. I was very excited for this album before it came out. And then the album suspiciously dropped on Sunday morning, which actually kind of reminds me of The Life of Pablo. That's how The Life of Pablo dropped as well. It just dropped on a Sunday morning. No one really knew it was going to drop that day.
Which is why I don't know how much I genuinely believe the whole my label dropped it without me knowing thing, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's another. We'll touch on that too. But this album came out, and I was pretty much listening to this album the whole day. So what had happened was, I woke up, I got on Twitter, I saw that it dropped. I went to Apple Music just to confirm, and it was out. Started listening, and then I was getting ready for work, and I drove to work. And by the time I got to work, the album was done, and I drove back home. And I got pretty much halfway through the album again. So on the first day, I'd pretty much listened to the album like twice. So safe to say, I think I've heard this album probably like 4 times all the way through. So I feel like I have a good understanding of what this album really is. And I will say this now, we can rank all these albums at the end, like after we talk about the next album. I do genuinely feel like this is the best album that has dropped these past 2 to 3 weeks. I do genuinely feel like that, and I will stand on that. And honestly, the reception that I'm seeing on social media is the same thing too. A lot of people are saying this is definitely the best album that has dropped from mid-August to like early September. Let me pull up the track list. I don't even want to speak on this album and like leave stuff out because there's so much to say about it. But I will start with the Donda Chant. Oh man, like why? Okay. One thing I realized with the albums that have come out recently, well, I'll just say it, between Drake and why can I not find the album? Why can I not find the album list? So between Drake and Kanye, they've made some very interesting choices in the way that they've set up their albums. But I'm trying to just pull this Donda album up for a second. This shit is like
I also didn't realize that this album was intended to be clean. That bothered me.
Yeah, so
I wanted an explicit version.
Okay.
But like I get it. Like I thought that like I just couldn't access it because I was like in another country.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the album is just released in a clean version, which like cool. All right, I guess. While you're looking for that, I want to give a little bit of my initial thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking about good old Donda. All right. Kanye fans, come for my head. But in terms of substance, in terms of, so I gotta pick my words very carefully. In terms of the words and lyrics that were actually said on this album, I didn't like it. In terms of production, in terms of the beats, and in terms of the delivery, I thought it was really good. But in terms of just purely what's being said, I didn't think it was that good, and I thought it was really long.
Yeah, I understand that critique of it being long. But one thing I will say, I don't know if it was just me, but the album didn't feel like the album was almost 2 hours long. And usually when albums are pushing that length, it's like, okay, can we like hurry up and finish already? But I did not feel that with this album.
I absolutely felt that. I think it's so interesting. Yeah, I think it's so interesting for you to say that because I absolutely felt that way with this album, especially considering that the last 4 songs are, oh my god, sorry, the last 4 songs are remixes, like part 2
remixes, yeah.
And that's not the oh my god part. The oh my god part is that I didn't realize that Jesus is, what's it called?
Jesus King?
Hold on. No, Jesus Lord Part 2 is 11 minutes, and the first one was 8.5.
Okay,
no wonder this album felt so damn long for me. Even I have a short attention span when it comes to songs like that.
That's the only one that's like, okay, yeah, this song we could have ended this a while ago, but
8.5 minutes for the original song. No, sorry, 8 minutes 58 seconds, which is basically 9 minutes, and then part 2 is 11 minutes and 30 seconds. That's way too long for me.
That's true.
I know that I'm basically saying I have a short attention span, but these 4 to 5 minute songs, even these 5 Pure Souls, track number 21, 5 minutes and 58 seconds, so basically 6 minutes. That's long, but that's fine.
Exactly.
I wouldn't complain about it. But 9 minutes to 11 minutes? Nah, you're doing too much, bro. I'm sitting here trying to watch YouTube videos at 1.5 times speed.
Yeah, man. I mean, okay, so that's the only thing, but that's the thing. It fits into the theme of the album.
And I get it. You got swept up in the moment.
I didn't know.
You were in the experience.
Exactly. I wouldn't say. Yeah. So one thing about this album that I really do like, I feel like Kanye did this the best out of any album that dropped that we've talked about and will talk about, is he really curated the whole concept of not only it being about his mom, but it also being about him being in the faith. I feel like he just captured that feeling so perfectly, and it I guess that's why it didn't really feel like that long of an album to me. And also the songs are just really good. Like, there's a stint on this album, I think it's like the first half, where it's like there's literally no skips. Like, besides Don the Chant, you got Jail, God Breathe, Off the Grid, Hurricane, Praise God, Jonah, Okay, and Junior. Believe What I Say, actually, and 24, and Remote Control. Like, I would say that is like this is like the first time Kanye's actually done that, I would say, since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. He's made like I would say like maybe 13 songs into this, there's like no skips. Like, you could listen to the first 13 minus Don the Chant all the way through. It's, I don't know, he did a really good job, to me at least. I know you feel a little different, but to me at least.
Listen, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the track list.
Yeah.
First 13 songs, sure, I'll give it to you. That's all the bangers. That's Hurricane, Off the Grid, Praise God.
Mm-hmm.
Those songs were hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's what I'll say. It's not like I don't like the album. It's just too fucking long. I'm standing by that. It's way too long. Tell the Vision pissed me off because there was no reason for that. Just put the version that was already out. He didn't even put like Tell the Vision and then Tell the Vision Part 2. Just put the version on that's already out. You didn't need to do all that. There was no point to that. And God, like, I get it. I understand the theme of this album. It's about the Lord and his mom, but like, and you know what the crazy thing is too? I feel like I didn't even have high expectations. Like, everybody kept saying, I was telling everybody in my life, because they were saying, yo, Kanye's gonna be on his demon time stuff. He's about to be on his demon mode shit. Like, he just got a divorce, blah, 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 blah. And I was telling everybody, yo, it's not gonna be a demon mode album. It's gonna be a very, like, tempered album. It's named after his mother. I think we had this conversation as well. I was telling everybody he's not going on his demon mode shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very, like, thematic album because it's named after his mom, and that's exactly what he did. So I got what I was expecting, and I still was disappointed, and that's when I knew that it just wasn't for me.
I see, that's the thing. I love when Kanye has a very interesting. That's the thing. I feel like this album, I don't know. I would say it's divisive, but I honestly feel like I'm not like in like an echo chamber. Like I've like, what I'll do for albums like these, especially, I'll really just go through like Twitter, or I'll go through like YouTube comments under the videos, or like I'll just I would say that this album is divisive in the sense that, like, I know what you're about to say, and I would agree that it's divisive in the sense that everybody either loves it or hates it. Yeah, like, but the thing is, like, I'm not really seeing as much people that hate it as opposed to like it. Like the next album we're gonna talk about, there is a, I would say it is split. I wouldn't even say in the middle, but I would definitely say that crowd that does not like the album is very loud. Very loud. I would also argue that twice as many people are projected to listen to the album. So yeah, you're gonna see way more conversation about it being bad on that sense when twice as many people in general are talking about the album, like, at all. So I mean, that makes sense. And no, I don't think that it means you're in an echo chamber because you don't see as many people saying that they don't like this album. I think it just suggests that the people, like, that you've seen, it's just circumstance. I don't think it's an echo chamber, because most of the people that I've talked to in my personal life don't like this album. That's interesting. Everybody thinks that everybody that I've talked to in, like, real life are like, yeah, bro, this is the inner machinations of Kanye's mind at work. Like, this guy just went crazy on the thing. Too much creative freedom is not always a good thing. And that's what the people in, like, my life have said about it.
but like everybody online is talking about how this is the next coming of Christ. So
you know what's crazy? Because for me, it's the complete opposite, bro. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Me,
it's just different, bro.
Like yeah, literally, like people that I've talked to in person, they're like, "Yo, this is a good album. Like this is one of the best albums that have dropped in the last little bit." So I don't know, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's interesting, and that's a funny thing. We haven't even like touched on the exact songs yet. We're just touching on like the theme and like overall reception. But I really do feel like this album, I don't know, for me personally, I wouldn't say that it's like a classic in turn. First of all, because the album just came out, I need more time to sit with it. But I can tell you this now, there are songs on this that I will be listening to a long time, like a while from now, even possibly like a decade from now, because just like okay, for instance, I'll actually get into the songs now. Off the Grid,
go off.
Off the Grid with Playboi Carti and 5E, that song. Okay, here's another thing I didn't get to say this. Kanye West has literally gotten the best performances from all of these artists. I can argue that these are some of the best performances in their career. You have Fabio Foreign.
I don't think anybody would disagree with you on that.
Yeah, like Fabio Foreign. You know what? I'll say this. This is the best verse I've ever heard him put down on.
This is the best verse that Fabio Foreign has ever put down on any track ever. That's undeniable.
Like, you know what's crazy? I was in a car with my girl she listened to the song for the album for the first time, and the 5E's verse came on. She's like, "Oh, this is good." Like, she doesn't even listen to Fabio Foreign.
Yeah,
exactly. She's like, "Who is this? Like, this is good." And then the song, like, he's like maybe like a minute and a half still into the verse, and she's like, "He's still going? Like, this is like, bro." I'm telling you, he's got, like, Kanye, I don't know how, he has literally gotten some of the best performances we have ever heard. The Weeknd on Hurricane, that is literally one of the best performance I've ever heard from The Weeknd.
Okay, hold on, relax. Remember, this guy just had the fucking biggest album of the year last year.
Bro, hold on. But the way that The Weeknd fits on the song, and the way that, because you can argue that it's a very well produced and very well put together song, but I don't know if you can sit here and say that it's The Weeknd's best performance, considering that like I think it's just you like it better because it's like Kanye. It's Kanye and The Weeknd, so it kind of tickles that note for you better. But I mean, like, there's a reason why like Blinding Lights and Heartless and all those things are like history record shattering Billboard chart topping songs. Oh no, there's a reason why people resonate with that for so long, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's his best performance. I'm saying it's like one of the best performances I've heard. I'm not saying it's his best, because I don't think this is like the best song he's been on. But I do think like this,
The Weeknd almost doesn't miss. So
yeah, like this is
hard to.
This is honestly, to me at least, this is one of the best performances I've heard from him. Because I know he's had a lot of really, really good songs that I really love. But just
I can agree that Kanye really brought out the best in most of the artists on this album. But we talked about this like off the show. But I kind of had a problem with that, specifically because it didn't feel like a Kanye album. It felt like, well, I shouldn't say that. It definitely felt like a Kanye album. But it didn't feel like, in terms of actual content and rappability, a showcase of what Kanye can do that much. It's more of, hey, these are the people that I fucks with in the industry,
Kanye
and they're
friends.
going to, and they're going to carry this album for me while I do my shit. Like, I get on this keyboard and do my thing, which is how I kind of felt about it. Which, cool, I get where you're going for, but when you're comparing it to the other album that we're about to talk about next, I kind of wanted to hear more. I wanted to see more directly of Kanye in terms of like rappability and performance. I wanted more of that.
Regarding that point,
not even just rap. I just wanted more Kanye.
Yeah, him just be on the songs more. Like, I understand what you're saying, but like at the same time, I said this too. I'm like, I don't think people like really have a problem with that. Like that. Like, I understand that's like for you want to see that, but like I'm saying, like in general, I don't think like, because I've always seen like ever since Yeezus, I've always seen Kanye as like a curator. Like Yeezus, he was definitely way more involved lyrically, like actually being present on the songs and not just producing. But ever since like Yeezus, it's always really felt like Kanye and friends. Like even My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, you could even say it always felt like
My Beautiful
Kanye.
Dark Twisted Fantasy is absolutely Kanye and friends, but
Yeah.
I'm not of the same mind for The Life of Pablo.
Really?
Oh, I did not mean to play that. No, I think that it's an excellent showcase of the like his circle, and yeah, there's a lot of features on it, but I think that you're not gonna tell me that the album where Kanye said I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex, why I made that bitch famous, was carried by other people. That's what I mean.
No.
I'm not saying that you're saying that. I'm not saying that
it's
you're
carried,
saying that, but like that's my point. That this album, Donda, was definitely carried by the other artists. Kanye was just also there, and the production was great. But it was the other artists and the other artist showcase, in my opinion, that really propelled this like to the next level and made it more than just an okay album. It made it a good album, or arguably a great album. I think it was the features that made it such.
Yeah.
I don't think that was necessarily just the case for The Life of Pablo. I think that album, without as many of the features on it as it had, would have still been able to stand on its own, especially because he changed so much of it and like took off and put people's verses back on and stuff.
You know what song I actually really like going off topic a little bit, a song that really reminds me of like what you're talking about is No More Parties in LA, because there's a point in the song Kanye's rapping for like, what is it, like 2 minutes
Yeah,
straight. It's just Kanye. Yeah, it's just so yeah, I would say, yeah, lyrically he was like, there are projects where he's a lot more involved in, and ever since, like, I would say post,
I thought The Life of
Dark
Pablo was
Twisted Fantasy.
arguably like a masterpiece, and I think that's why I'm so like, if we're gonna look at the two albums, why I'm so critical of this next to it, because you make the comparison a lot to like Yeezus, but then if I say that this was like his best album since Yeezus or something, then I'm completely looking over the masterpiece that I truly believe Pablo was.
I honestly still feel like The Life of Pablo is the best album he's made since Yeezus, because I think Yeezus is honestly the best album he's made since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I like, and people will be like, you know, I feel like that's a bit of a, I guess you would say, a controversial take, but just like what Kanye was trying to accomplish on that album, it was like, I feel like it's more ambitious than like anything we've seen from like anyone. I feel like that's genuinely a classic, because and another thing, that album really exists outside of any music period. Like, you could listen to that album in like, I forget who I was talking to this with about, but you could listen to Yeezus in the 90s and you could listen to Yeezus today, and it still wouldn't sound like it fits into any music period between those 30 years. Anything. Like, it sounds like nothing. So I really do feel like that album is a classic, just standing on those two alone, and it had amazing samples, had really good features, but I mean, people hated it because I don't know, but regardless, yeah, that's how I feel about it. But yeah, I do definitely agree with you in terms of lyrical presence on the songs. He's been a lot more involved on other projects in the past few years, but I think
that I need to listen to this album again a couple more times. Keep in mind, I've listened to both this and the next album. I'm just gonna say it. I'm tired of saying the next album. I've listened to both this and CLB like 4 times each, front to back. But I feel like I need to listen to this album more in like a contained bubble and on its own. Like, I spent an entire week listening to this while I was like at work and stuff, because like I have the opportunity and the privilege to occasionally be able to listen to my music while I'm at work. So I listened to it on the side a little bit, and I was feeling it and vibing with it. But I need to really sit down in a contained environment and give it like a good think over, you know?
I understand. I understand. And that's the thing. I understand how some people could not like this album. But I remember I said this before, and I guess I was kind of proven right. I guess that this album would be a resurgence of Kanye for the mainstream, because one thing that I am realizing, I'm starting to see a lot of people that have said they don't listen to Kanye anymore have actually listened to this album and said it's really good. So I guess you could say I was right, but I don't really,
It's weird too, because it's not like he put out bad albums. The only one that missed was Jesus is King, and the only reason why it missed is because it was too religious. It was too gospel.
Yeah, it's too much gospel. He didn't find like a good balance, and that's what we didn't get to say. That
Ghost everybody thought was amazing. Ye was questionable, but that's because he was on his like bipolar mode. So like,
yeah,
I think that the opinion on that album was split. But other than those two albums, like everything else in his discography is just like nuts.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I really feel
it's
like
what, yeah, Kids See Ghosts, Ye, and then The Life of Pablo.
Kanye has like he has like no real misses besides Jesus. Like that's an arguable
Jesus is King, I feel like, is the less arguable of the two. I think it's Ye that's the arguable, like that EP. I feel like that's arguable, where you could be like, I didn't like that. I didn't think that was very good, because that's a different kind of album. I thought about Killing You is the weirdest type of song ever, bro.
I feel like people would say the opposite. I feel like people liked Ye more than they did Jesus is King.
Oh no, definitely not. No,
I don't know.
No. It was the Kanye fans. Go back and re-listen to I Thought About Killing You, and go listen to Kanye monologue for 4.5 minutes about how he thought about killing himself and how he thinks he's so important. So of course he's
self-deleting.
I'm sorry. Self-deleting. I'm not YouTube. Anyways, you understand what I'm trying to say by that. Listen to that song and like actually sit there and listen to it. It's only the Kanye fans that are gonna sit here and tell you that this album was like amazing. But it goes over the heads of a lot of people. This is the definition of the inner machinations of Kanye's mind.
Yeah.
Jesus is King, most people didn't like because it was purely a gospel album.
Yeah, it leaned too much into it. Yeah, I understand.
That doesn't necessarily make it a bad album either. It's just
it's just the way he made it. Yeah, but off of I wouldn't even say that's really first impressions, because you've listened to the album 4 times. What would be your general takeaway? Like, what would you say?
Donda as an album overall, for me, is a 7. I think in terms of production quality and substance, it's an 8 or a 9. But in terms of actual like rap lyrics and what's being said and what I expected from Kanye, brings it down a little bit for me. I would have given that score like a 5, maybe a 6. So I'm landing on a solid 7 for how I feel about the album overall. But I need to listen to it again in a contained bubble, because all of the people in my life, including yourself, I shouldn't say all the people, but a lot of the people in my life, including yourself, have tried to make me see the light and tell me that this album is amazing, and I don't see it. So clearly I'm missing something, so I need to go back.
If we're giving out scores, for Tekka, I'll give Tekka a 7. But for Donda, I would say it gets an 8.5. The only knock that I could give it is like, yes, Kanye wasn't like as lyrically present, but the production is insane. The features are insane. The theme and concept is very consistent, and Kanye has found, if Kanye makes more albums like this, Kanye could actually, I feel like Kanye could make like I don't want to call it a new genre, I would say a subgenre of gospel music. And yeah, that's my come away with this album. This is an 8.5 for me. Kanye got people to actually listen to like some of these songs. It's like I would say it fits into the gospel category.
Yeah,
but as I said, it's like a subgenre. I wouldn't call this gospel music. Like 24, that's like a mute song like you'd hear in like church, like for real. So
yeah,
like I would say this is like a subgenre of gospel, and if he keeps making music like this, I really feel like people would listen and Kanye would carve out his own lane and maybe people would even follow. So yeah, I do like this album. I think it's a good album. I do think that some of these songs will be classics and we will listen to them 5-10 years from now. That's how I feel about the album. But yeah, the big boy in terms of, I'll say sales. You'll understand why I say why. But the big boy on this podcast episode today, we have Aubrey Drake Graham, better known as Drake.
Oh man. Oh man. Not again.
Man, this is an interesting one. He dropped Certified Lover Boy. Well, first we'll start with the rollout as we did with Kanye. This album was supposed to drop in January. This album has been hyped, I believe. I honestly want to say since 2020. This album has been hyped since 2020. We didn't know it was gonna be called Certified Lover Boy
until he announced that it was coming out in January. Once he said it was coming out in January, so like what was it, like either end of summer 2020 or like beginning of winter, like September, November, somewhere around there is when he said that we were getting Certified Lover Boy January 2021.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Frustrating. Very frustrating. He then says, what did he say? He said he's working on mixes. He's working on perfecting the album.
That he got injured. He had to freaking rest his ACL or some bullshit. He had a surgery. All types of excuses.
So, when was it? I think it was like maybe June. Was it June or like early summer? I want to say, where he gave an update because everyone was like, "Bro, you said this album was gonna drop first quarter of 2021, and it's like summer now and nothing." He said the album's coming. Don't worry, the album's on the way. Fast forward to what would that be? Late August. And we get the Sports Center trailer. I wouldn't say trailer.
The sneak announcement.
Yeah, it was like an interruption. I think someone said that this is they actually did this in the new Joker movie, like the one that just came out. Like that's what people were comparing it to. I didn't get to see the movie. I still have to watch it.
But yes, but I think like people are just like. People are running with the whole Kanye sent a picture of the Joker thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. That's what I was just hearing on the internet. But yeah, this kind of he dropped the Sports Center interruption. I guess you could call it promo, teaser, trailer, whatever you want to call it. And then what's it called? Donda drops on Sunday. On Tuesday, I believe it was Tuesday, Drake comes out with the post on Instagram with the title. It says Certified Lover Boy, September 3rd, official, it's dropping.
And he drops that ridiculous ass album art that's supposed to be some famous artist did it, right?
Damien Hirst.
Yes.
Yeah,
Damien Hirst. I don't care.
Yeah, if you don't know who Damien Hirst is, he's like I would say he's a pretty famous artist. He's done
he's super famous.
Yeah, he's done a few Supreme collabs. He has his own art. You know, I would say I like his art. He's a cool artist. But
when I say I don't care, what I really mean is Damien Hirst designing the art does not excuse the fact that this album cover is shit.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
It does not excuse it for sure. Yeah, that is definitely true. Because something interesting, I remember I heard someone say it. If you line all of Drake's album covers up from like Thank Me Later all the way up to CLB, you'll see that it looks like there's some intention, and you know, there's a certain vibe that you get from the album covers. This album cover, and I'll touch on this as well. This album cover honestly looks like, to me, it has no substance. There's a song called, what is it called? Poppy's Home? The second song? Okay, yeah, I guess you could kind of say it fits into that. But I mean, it's just, to me, it's just such a lackluster cover. And especially from Damien Hirst, like he's a really good artist, you know, like I feel like he could have done something crazy, but maybe usually what from what I've seen before, when like a musician teams up with like an artist, they give them a vision. They give them, like, I remember when you know the album Honcho Jack Honcho?
Yeah.
That they got some famous artists to do it, and he was talking about like how Travis Scott gave him the vision of like what he's trying, like, and like I like that album art. I like that album art. It was a cool cover. Like, it's something you don't really see every day, you know? Like, there was some actual intention put into it, but this just feels very, sorry to say, but it feels very lazy. It feels very uninspired. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. Getting into the actual album, the actual track listing. First song, Champagne Poetry. Didn't like that song, I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's crazy.
I didn't like
this
that song.
Bars.
and noted, I've listened to this album 3 times now. Funny enough, when I did a listening party for this album, because I was very excited for this album before it came out. I did a listening party. I think I got, what was it, 18 songs in, and I literally stopped the stream and said, you know what, I'm going to bed. I can't finish this. It just feels like it's dragging on way too long. But anyway, second song, Poppy's Home. As I listened to the album more, I like that song a lot more. I like that song now. I didn't like the end part with Nicki Minaj on it. Bro, cut her off.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like any of the like weird outro stuff that he's trying to do on this album, because it's not a Drake thing. Like, this is really weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Girls Want Girls, I didn't like that song. In the Bible, no. I didn't really like that song.
That song's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Love All, I mean, Jay-Z's verse was okay. Drake was aight.
Yeah, I feel like he didn't know what he was trying to do on that track.
Yeah. It's...
Oh, yo, hold on. No. We gotta go back. I need to go back to Girls Want Girls.
Yeah, go back.
Okay. First of all, Drake's first verse, he tries to do this weird Lil Baby impression. Like, he tries to rap like Lil Baby on the same song that Lil Baby is on. I was listening to it with my homies, first time listening to it, and we're all balling up, and I looked at them and I was like, yo, is this man trying to do a Lil Baby impression? And they were like, yo, he really did. Bro, it blew all of our minds, because I was like, why are you trying to rap like Lil Baby on the song that you have him on when you know he's gonna do it better than you?
Exactly.
It's the flow he's used to delivering.
Interesting song. And he even had this line about, girl, you a lesbian, me too, or something. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
You say that you a lesbian, girl, me too is the line. Which, first of all, I clowned on it when I first heard it, but like, I get it. I kind of get it.
Oh, that album is just that.
It's so cringe.
It is.
But at the same time, it makes me smile. It makes me crack a smile, because I get what you're saying. The shorty's telling you that she's not interested because she likes girls, and you're like, damn, me too. I get it. But come on, bruh.
Piss poor. I'll say this, it's piss poor, bro. It's piss poor. I get it. Like, I understand what he's trying to achieve with it. You know, he's trying to play up the fact that he's a lover boy. He's a lover boy. I understand, but like, it's just, like,
you could have titled this album "Certified Fuckboy" and it would have the same. I mean, yeah, we're well past 10 minutes, so whatever. Yeah. You could have titled it "Certified Fuckboy" and it would have been the same album. And what I will say is, Drake dropped a whole decent amount of Instagram captions.
Yeah, he did. There's
a good amount of Instagram captions.
A lot of these quotes will be used, bruh. A lot of them. Jump around quickly. Fair Trade. I feel like that verse that Travis Scott put down on Fair Trade, that was one of his best verses that he's ever put out. I can say that definitively. Like, it's so like
funny, because my homie said he hated that song.
Really?
He thought that it was a miss. I like it. I thought it was sick. One of my homies said that he thought it was a big miss, especially from Travis. I was like, really?
I feel like that verse that Travis gave, it was not only, it was a good beat switch up that led into it, and then the actual beat switches. Travis comes on with like this crazy new flow you never heard of from him before, and he's actually rapping, and then he kind of like ends out into the intro with like this nice like little singing. It's a good song. I like that song. That, like, I honestly feel like that's one of the best performances I've heard from Travis Scott in a long time, and it kind of has me hyped for Utopia. If he's going to try new things like this, then, you know, I'm definitely gonna be looking out for Utopia. But yeah, that's how I felt about that. Way Too Sexy, that song was okay. TSU,
I thought that song was terrible. Let's talk about that.
Really? You think that song was bad?
I thought that song was pure cheeks.
Yeah.
First of all,
yeah, go ahead.
I didn't need like the actual like thematic like sample of I'm Too Sexy or whatever the like actual song is called. Like they sampled that part.
Yeah.
I didn't need that. I get that the album's called Certified Lover Boy, but like you said, it's one of those songs that comes out of nowhere and like it doesn't match with everything that was before it. It kind of matches with Girls Want Girls, I guess, but like it's just so off and jarring, especially in like the delivery and the way that the song sounds compared to everything that came before it, that it doesn't sound cohesive. It's like it's randomly there. And then my last point is Future, Young Thug, and Drake all do completely different things on the song. Like Drake and Young Thug didn't understand the assignment. You know that it's Future carrying it. So it's like, yo, you guys are getting on my wave. Did you not understand the assignment?
Bro, and that's like a gripe that I have with this album as a whole, is that like this album, I brought up something very interesting before we started the show, and I'm gonna say it again. Like this album, the theme, just the way that the songs are placed and the theme and the actual concepts of the song and like what he's saying, it's like it's very base level. It's something that you don't really expect Drake to really deliver. And I brought up something here, and I'll say it again. I feel like some people might not like it when I say it, but the album, like the concept of this album is very just like, it's, I don't know, like it's very simple. And what really differentiates this album in theme from like an album like a Smoke Perp or a Lil Pump, like what really differentiates what, I mean,
it's
like,
Drake's ops. What I will say is like Drake does this thing where he'll do a lot of like subtle mentions on people, and Drake will call out people that you may not know that Drake had beef with. Drake knows that he has beef with them, and those people that are being rapped about know that the bars are about them, but it's not for us.
Exactly.
So Drake does a lot of that, and there's a good amount of that on this album. Like a lot of like subtle bars that are being thrown out. Sure, there's the Kanye shade that we know about, but there's a lot of subtle bars and like subliminals being thrown out that I have to really sit there and question, like, bro, Drake, who are you talking about right now? What? Like,
yeah.
And I think that also contributes to some of the like incohesiveness of the album.
Yeah, it's not like, and honestly, I'm kind of fine with him not being transparent with exactly who he's talking about, because that's something he, exactly like you said, he does. But it doesn't feel like, it just feels like, oh, I'm gonna throw a jab in right here, and it doesn't fit. Like, it just doesn't fit the vibe of this. Like, it doesn't fit the vibe of the song. Like,
you also called the album Certified Lover Boy, so why are you trying to go to war? Make up your mind.
Yeah, it's not cohesive. I don't like the songs I did like though. TSU, I really like that song. Shout out to DJ Screw. But once again,
I think that song's okay.
Yeah.
No, go off. Sorry, continue.
No. You know, yeah. But once again, Drake does this thing that I don't like. He has like a minute and a half intro of something that has like,
it was way too long.
Yeah, like it's way too long. Like this song is 5 minutes, and a minute and like what is it, 5 seconds of it is literally just DJ
intro,
Screw talking. Like, bro, once again, shout out to DJ Screw, rest in peace to Screw, but like, bro, we didn't need that on the song. It's just so unneeded. But that was a good song. I like that song. Into Deep. And another thing here, I'll say this,
I like that song.
Another thing I'll say, I like when when Drake gets off the song and the features come on. Like, the second half of this song is way better when Future jumps on it.
Okay. I understand what you're talking about, but it's not just because Drake hops off the song. It's because the second half of the album has a lot of that, like, second half of the song switch up.
It does.
And that's sick. I know exactly what you're talking about. I like it too. And I think it has to do with just the way that the album is sort of set up. Because he's doing all these weird mid-song transitions, like halfway through the song the beat kind of switches and it'll kind of change to a slightly different vibe for the same track, and then by the end of the song he's doing those weird outros that I don't know why he's doing. A lot of these songs had weird outros.
Exactly, like it, bro.
This sounded like something that Uzi had on freaking Eternal Atake.
No, those make sense though. Those make sense.
I know it makes sense because with the theme of the album, but these are just random.
Yeah, these don't.
Like,
yeah, exactly. These just don't make sense at all. Like it's very just like, okay, why did you put that there? Like, okay, like I understand. Like the song is cool, but like we get into like the last 30 seconds and it's just like why is that there? Like I don't know. But yeah, Pipe Down. I really like that song. He resampled the song that was on Fancy. I don't remember what song that is though. He resampled that song. No Friends in the Industry is a cool song. Knife Talk is okay. 7 a.m. on Brittle Path. I believe that's a street on Toronto. That's a street in Toronto. I'm almost sure.
It's a reference to Kanye leaking his address.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. That song, I mean, yeah, that was like a song that was just like shooting shots. Anytime Drake has like a song that has like a time on it and a location, that's usually a song where he's just like going crazy, just rapping. It was cool. I liked it. That was a good song. Race My Mind is okay. Like a lot of these, and I'm being honest, a lot of these I really like. The second and third listens through, I skipped them. I didn't listen to a lot of them because I just didn't like them. I didn't like how they fit. I didn't like I don't know.
See, but then can you really say that you listened to them a second and third time? You couldn't even sit there and, I'm not saying that you should have sat there and put yourself through it if you really didn't like it, but I personally found that a lot of the songs that I didn't like on first listen to, when I got through them a second and third time, they started to grow on me.
Oh, okay. Here, sorry, my bad. I should have probably explained myself. See, the second time I listened to it, most of the songs I listened through to, like the second time I listened through to You Only Live Twice, because the last like 3 songs I like those songs, so I didn't really have to like re-listen to them to know if I liked them. I listened to up to 18, up to track 18. There's 21 tracks on this. I listened up to track 18. The third listen, that was when I'm like, the song came on, you know, like those ones where the song come on, you're like, bro, shut up, and you just skip to the next song.
I'm good.
That
next
was
song.
That was what was going on. That's sorry, that's what I meant to say. So yeah, a lot of these songs, like on those later listens, I listened to this album like I would say 3.5 times now, and on those later listens, I was definitely skipping through a lot of these, a lot. And I'll give out a disclaimer. I am a Drake fan. Because I know the way that I'm talking, it sounds like I'm not a Drake fan. I'm genuinely a Drake. I've been listening to Drake since 2009. I've been listening to Drake before a lot of people even knew who Drake was. Because if you're from Toronto, you had heard about Drake. You like his music was getting played on different radios and stuff like that. So I've been listening to Drake for a long time. I can just honestly say to myself, like I can be objective and say that this is not up to par with the albums that he is known for making.
I can agree with that statement that like this is definitely not like an album that's on the same level as a Nothing Was the Same or it's not even on the same level as Scorpion. So I definitely feel you on that sense, but I don't know, I thought that overall it was an okay project. The first listen through, I thought it was just okay. But as I've listened to it more, I've been through the album 3 times now, and I didn't skip anything like all 3 listens through. Like I listened to the album front to back, first song to last song 3 times through. Same with Donda. I've listened to it 3 to 4 times now, front to back, no skips. My brain mentally checked out, so I gotta go back and listen to it checked in. But so far, like it really took those like additional listens and me like sitting there soaking in the album properly to realize that like this album's pretty good. Drake's got a decent amount of subliminals on it, and it's a lot of. Do you know what the thing is though? The thing that conflicts me about it? It feels like all of these songs feel like songs that Drake has already made.
Yes.
They're all songs that Drake has done the exact same thing on another track for. Almost all of them. And everything that I like about each song that I really like, I could probably point to another Drake song where he does the same thing that I also liked. But that's why I'm conflicted.
You know what's crazy though? I feel like you could say the same thing about Donda. But the reason, like literally, I feel like I can hear different versions of Kanye in the song. Like Kanye isn't reinventing anything, but it's just the way he went about it is way better than the way that Drake did. I don't feel like either of them are they're not doing anything like how Drake made like Take Care. Like he did something totally different that we really didn't like hear from a rapper. And same thing with Kanye, he's done that a few times. I don't feel like it was one of those albums. I feel like both of these albums were just like they're doing what they do well. But I don't know, for some, like Drake's just doesn't feel as well put together as Kanye's does, to me at least.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, because like I feel like I can hear Jesus is King Kanye on Donda. I can hear like a little bit of Graduation. I can hear College Dropout. I can hear some Life of Pablo. Like I can hear I hear different Kanye albums on that album, but it just feels way better. I don't know.
Honestly, from an enjoyability standpoint, I like to CLB more. Like I can sit there and put on like there's like 8 or 9 tracks that I can pull from CLB that I can just 8 or 9 is maybe reaching. There's like 5 or 6 tracks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hey, let me relax.
That's crazy, bro. This guy said he couldn't even put half of the... Okay, see, that's one thing we have to talk about too. You said you can't even pull 9 songs from... Okay, we're not going to ignore that. You can't even pull half of the album together and say you like it, bro.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Okay, yeah,
I was going to say, I'll use the original 8 or 9. I was going to say there's 8 or 9 tracks that I could get in my car, press play on that song, and I could just like let my music shuffle. But I don't think it's 8 or 9. I think it's 5 or 6. I'm not saying that I don't like it. I just don't think they're all starters. But we could talk. Okay, what I was gonna say in bringing up that point is that there are fewer tracks on Donda that I feel that way about. There's like 3 or 4 that I could just get in my car, press play, and let my music shuffle from there. Otherwise, I have to like sit down and listen to Donda as an experience, and I'm not big on albums like that. That's why I don't really like J. Cole.
Did you like Astroworld?
Yes, I loved Astroworld. Because I felt like it went both ways. I felt like as a contained project, listening to it front to back, it was really good. But like all of the songs are bangers. So anything that comes on Astroworld, like pretty much every song that comes on, you're in a good mood. You're hyped.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's Astroworld is kind of different. I wouldn't say that's a good example to bring up because every song, like the songs fit into the theme, but every song is like a banger. So I wouldn't say, literally almost every single song on Astroworld is actually a banger. I wouldn't compare. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. But it's kind of crazy. Like, look at the last 3 tracks: Butterfly Effect, Houston Fornication, Coffee Bean. Yeah. What? It's and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess like when you look at Drake's album, we could even look at that. We could look at Certified Lover Boy and the way that Travis Scott crafted Astroworld. Like that album, it jumps from like genre to genre, but it kind of has like it has like almost like you know what is it called when you write a book? You know how they have the beginning, and they have the problem, and then they have
you mean like, I understand what you mean. It's called like a, damn it, people in the comment section are gonna flame us for this, but I know what you mean. It's like the arc, the like rise and fall,
exactly,
like structure.
But it follows it, like you can feel it. Like there's like 2 songs that have a build up, and then there's 2 songs that are really crazy, and then there's another song that's like, oh, it's out of this world, and then he takes it back down. Like it feels like you're on a roller coaster. Like it fits into the theme. But this is just scatterbrain. Like CLB is just all over the place.
Breaking news here. I just happened to glance over at social media. This isn't breaking news. This is just really funny. But I just saw someone repost, you know that Drewski meme where he's dancing like a shorty holding the bottles and stuff?
Yeah.
So I just saw that meme, but someone said, me when way too sexy comes on in the club. So I guess people are feeling it, but it's not me. It's not me. I'm gonna tell you that much right now.
Did you see that the music video he put out?
Yes.
For Way Too Sexy. It was like,
it's all memes, bro.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like about Drake, though. He doesn't take himself too seriously when it comes to music videos, and it really does. It results in like some really classic moments. But like as a whole, like the songs, like I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
What would you give this? Yeah, it is. What would you give this as a rating?
God damn. All right. Also a 7, but for different reasons than Donda, because I think that from a quality standpoint, this album is worse than Donda. But from a just jump into it and listen at any point standpoint, I like this better than Donda, and that's how I tend to listen to my music. That's part of why. The other reason is because as much as I agree with you that there's no cohesive message between the songs, like each song in and of itself does have a message, and like I can get down with that.
Yeah, that's true. So you're giving it a 7?
Yeah, I'd give it a 7 as well. I would say that. Here's the thing. No, we gotta pick. I can't rate them the same. We gotta pick. The listeners are gonna be mad.
Which one did you give a 7? You gave Donda?
I gave Donda and CLB a 7.
That's
right now.
Interesting. Okay.
But for different reasons. That's what I was explaining.
Which one do you give that leg up?
I gotta pick. I'm thinking. Shoot. You know why it's so hard for me?
Why?
Because I can recognize that Donda is the better album as a whole package.
That's crazy. That's crazy that you even say that, bro.
I'm honest. I can recognize that as a full package, Donda is the better album. But in terms of my own enjoyment, I like CLB more. So this is a very difficult decision for me. Because if I'm being objective, it's Donda. Donda is the better album. But I don't like Donda enough, and that's why I keep saying I need to go back and listen to it more, because I don't like it enough to be like, yeah, that's definitively the best album. It's hard for those words to leave my mouth, but I just said it. I just said it. Donda is the better album. Fuck it. It is what it is, boys. It is what it is, Chiefs.
Hey, man. I kind of feel the same way with Tekka and Drake. It's crazy that, like, this is real, like, and I'll touch on this. I'll touch on this as well after we get off of this. I'll touch on this as well. But it's crazy that I'm even putting Tekka and Drake in the same argument and seeing which album was actually better.
I get what you mean.
But I will say this. I can just like you, I can recognize that this album, in terms of production and lyricism, I would say is better than Tekka's album. But in terms of actual enjoyment, I enjoy Tekka's album more. Like, I will spend more time on Tekka's album than I will on Drake's album.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, I mean...
But does that make it, like, that's hard to say, too, because a lot of what Tekka's album is, and I have to acknowledge it for what it is a lot of those, like, short, repetitive songs. So it's a lot easier to listen to a 2.5-minute song where he says the same thing than to listen to a 4.5-minute 5 song where Drake's like going bar over bar over bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot more digestible, so I can understand why that would be more enjoyable. But like you said, from a production standpoint, it's CLB.
Yeah, it blows it out the water. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I will say I'll rank them though. I'll give my rank of these 3 albums. I'm not gonna put Belly's album in there because I'm not gonna discredit him because I haven't listened to the album, so I'm not ranking his album. You can do it, but I'm not gonna do it just out of respect for the album. I haven't listened.
Do you hear that in the background?
What?
My neighbor's dogs are straight whining.
Oh yeah, I hear it.
Right
yeah,
now.
I hear it. I hear it just now.
I'm about to bust outside and bust some puppies.
Hey, bro, they need to throw them dogs a bone, bro. Throw that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Give them a little treat or something.
Exactly. Yeah, stop them from whining.
Feed these guys.
But I would say Donda's album is obviously first to me. In terms of enjoyment, I'm gonna say Tekka then Drake. But if we're going off of just pure objectivity, I would say Donda, then CLB, then We Love You Tekka too. But I didn't get to give CLB a rating. I give it a 7.5.
Okay, so about like 1 point underneath Donda.
Yeah. No, a whole point. I gave Donda 8.5.
That's what I'm saying. 1 point.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you said a half. My bad. But,
I technically said about 1 point, but like that's what I meant. I was 1 point under.
Yeah,
if I had to rank these 4 albums, because I am gonna talk about See You Next Wednesday. See You Next Wednesday is the first because I think that it was the best showcase. I think it was the best showcase of both production and actual like quality music. So I'm gonna go See You Next Wednesday first, then Donda, then Certified Lover Boy, then We Love You Tekka. If we're going from a purely like what's good and what's bad, like quality standpoint, I'm gonna put it that way. But if I have to do it in terms of enjoyment, then it's gonna be See You Next Wednesday, We Love You Tekka 2, Donda, and then CLB.
Okay, that's understandable. That is definitely understandable.
If it's just from purely enjoyment standpoint, because like there's so many like short, sweet songs on the Tekka album that just they hit really quick, and then they move on to the next one. So I can enjoy that.
Yeah, I feel that. That's an understandable point.
Donda's an experience. That's what.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience. You definitely have to get in that mode to listen to this Donda, I would say. But one thing I will say is I was gonna say the first time, but this is actually the second time that it looks like we have seen a chink in Drake's metaphorical armor. And I'll say this because if you go on social media, as I was saying before, when we first started talking about Donda and Certified Lover Boy, you're going to see that there's a lot of people that genuinely well, some of them are probably trolling, but I would say a good amount of them just genuinely do not like this album, or they don't think it's up to Drake's standards as I do. So it's going to be interesting to see where Drake takes it from here with his next album and his next album rollout, because I was saying this too, it could go either two ways. Drake takes the fuel that he's been getting from the criticism of this album, and he takes that as a chip on his shoulder, and he comes out with something amazing for the next album, or people kind of write him off, and we start to see the decline of Drake. I feel like this album is honestly this is a pivotal moment for him. It really is.
Here's what I
genuinely do feel it.
What an opinion. I don't think that this is the end of the era of Drake, but I think it is the plateau. I don't think that Drake's going up anymore from here. I think he's found his footing. He's gotten as big as he's gonna get, and at this point, it is a downward. It is only downhill from here, but not in the sense that like I think Drake is just gonna keep failing. It's like I think that from this is the moment and point in time when we stop seeing Drake as like an artist that's consistently growing.
Yeah.
I think this is where.
That's what I'm saying. I genuinely feel like this is a pivotal album, because you know what's gonna happen now. I would say probably like, I would say maybe like a month from now, maybe like even 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, you're gonna start to get all of the videos. Oh, CLB versus Donda, you know, people's final thoughts. And I do feel like you're gonna hear a lot of people say Drake pushed this album back 8 months and he still came out with something that we do not think is up to par. Kanye dropped the album. You know, Drake had this whole feud. Drake said, on the Betrayal song with Trippie Redd, he said, "You ain't changing shit for me, it's set in stone." He comes out with this whole triumphant thing, and the album, granted, it sold. I think the projection is around 650. 575 to 650.
It went up. It went up. It was 575 to 625. Mm-hmm. Now AK is saying it's going to be 675, so he might do 700K.
Maybe, yeah. So, like, in terms of critical reception, you know, it's Drake. He's going to get the listens, but in terms of actual opinion, I think this is going to be, these next year to 2 years are going to be very, very important in Drake's career, because this is going to define whether he continue his run for like another 4 to 5 years, whether he goes on like almost like a Jay-Z stint, like where people appreciate his later music, or it's like, Drake, we don't want to hear you.
I think that this is confirmed, like this album has confirmed that Drake is not at the level of someone like a Jay-Z. Like, we're not getting a 444 from Drake. Like, it's not happening.
I didn't. I didn't even think of that. I did not even think of that.
Because Drake, people are always like, there were people that were tweeting when this album came out, can we finally say that Drake is on the level of Hove or whatever? Like, other people, like, they named other people as well. And it's like, no, Drake is not on the level of like a Jay-Z. That's facts. This album has set that in stone. But I will also say that, like you said, time is going to be a very important factor, and time usually does well for Drake albums, and I think that it might for this one too, because like I said, the more that I've been listening to it, the better that I've kind of noticed that it actually is, and the more like I've started to pick up on things. I think it was More Life that was like that everybody didn't like at first, and then it grew. Like, over time, people said that the album was really, really good, and I know that Nothing Was the Same was like that. When it came out, people were very questionable on it, but as like it sat for a little bit more and people like digested the music more, they realized that shit was a masterpiece. So time does well for Drake albums, so I think it'll be interesting to see how this one ages. Views was like that too.
I mean, I agree with you. Time usually does help Drake's albums. But the thing that set out Nothing Was the Same, first of all, I don't know, just me saying personally, I loved that album the first time I listened to it.
Same, so did I. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was a really, really good album. But I feel like the reason that people like Drake's albums as time goes on, because they find something new in it and they hear the album in a way they didn't previously hear it. What different angle do people have to listen to this album? Like, where are people going to come back?
The verses in and of themselves, because I think that like what he's actually saying is going over a lot of people's heads. I don't think that I think that from a listenability standpoint, it's not as like easily digestible and listenable as other Drake music. There's a lot more of those. I don't know how to describe the term, but when you're like the type of song that champagne poetry is, when you're just going like bar over bar over bar, and like it's an A-B kind of format where you're only rhyming like the first bar with the next bar. It's not really like, there isn't really like a chorus or anything. It's just like verses coming. Those types of rap songs are not easily digestible by the masses, and Drake makes digestible music. So I think that those types of songs, people are going to grow on people more, because I think that a lot of people listened to those songs and didn't hear them.
I understand what you mean,
There's another one that's like that. I think
Um,
No Friends in the Industry is gonna get bigger. 7 a.m. on Bridal Path for sure.
I think No Friends in the Industry is gonna be a big song regardless. I think people are just gonna like I like that
I think
song. That's gonna
7
be a big
a.m.
song.
on Bridal Path and The Remorse are like that. I think
Mhm.
people are gonna listen to it more, and they're gonna catch bars here and there, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, this shit's different." I think it'll happen.
I mean,
At least for those songs.
yeah.
Maybe not the whole album.
It's gonna be interesting to see. You know what? I genuinely want to do like a check-in with people and see like how first of all how many songs they still listen to off that album, and if their feelings have changed. Because I don't know, like as you said, yeah, there are some bars that'll go over your head, but like in terms of like what he's actually talking about, I feel like it's not anything that people are going to really be checking for. Like, I don't know, we'll have to see. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, time will definitely tell for that. But yeah, that. Oh, one more thing before we move on from this topic. A lot of people are saying that Drake kind of just threw the alley-oop for Kendrick to drop album of the year. I'm hearing that a lot now. A lot of people are saying,
what does that even mean?
like, because
You could also make the argument that he threw the alley-oop to give Kanye album of the year by that logic.
no, his album came out before. I'm just talking about like in terms of build up, because you know how people are like questioning how good this album is. People are saying that now this is kind of just giving Kendrick Lamar the lane.
You mean like people are just more paying attention to Kendrick's album now? But do we even think that Kendrick's album is gonna come out by the end of this year?
That's what I'm saying. I don't like, honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't even know if Kendrick Lamar dropping an album, bro. I don't know.
Said he's dropping one more with TDE.
Yeah, he said he's dropping one more, but I don't know.
I just don't know if it's coming out this year. I don't think so, to be honest. I don't think it'll come out till next year.
Yeah.
We have 4 months left in the year. I mean, he's probably cooking in the studio. And if you told me in like December that he's releasing an album, it wouldn't shock me.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's an interesting what would I say? What would you call that? Interesting theory. I don't really subscribe to it because, as I said, I'm doubting Kendrick Lamar as well. I'm very much doubting Kendrick Lamar. First of all,
Like his ability to come through?
not his ability to come through, just his ability. After when did he drop Damn? It's been 4 years now. It's almost 5 years.
Did you listen to Family Ties?
Yeah, I listened to it. I didn't like it. I didn't like Kendrick's verse.
I thought it was okay.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't think it was anything amazing. I thought it was okay.
I don't know. Like Kendrick Lamar has this thing where a song will be good. Like Baby Keem's first half is like really good, like good energy, good bars, good flow, and then Kendrick just comes in, me my brother, like bro, stop, shut up, like shut up, bro, like what? Like I don't know, like I feel like it's gonna be very interesting to see if he, like, I keep saying if because I don't even know if he's gonna drop this album, but you know, it's gonna be interesting to see what the reception is going to be and just like what he's gonna talk about after 5 years, what he's gonna talk about, bro.
I get that, but also in that same logic, there's so much for him to talk about within the past 5 years. So much has happened. You can argue that some of it may not be relevant anymore, but it's still relevant to him. Kendrick's never been the type of person to like wait for like to only talk about things when people care about them. So all the like between everything that happened, even think about everything that's happened in the past 2 years with all the Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate. I'm not saying that he's gonna talk about all of these things, but I'm just saying like think about all the social like
issues,
social issues and things that have happened. Like even Lil Baby made a freaking song based on Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
like
that's true,
and it went off. So you know what I mean? Like I'm sure that there's substance there.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like through the past few years that he's been. I don't know. I'm not saying that he's gonna drop a shitter, but I'm definitely saying I don't know.
I think we're getting too comfortable with artists dropping music like all the time. Like dropping an album every 2 to 3 years, like was pretty common in the norm for a while. Like the fact that artists be dropping like 1-2 albums every year nowadays is like wild. Like that's actually really like that's so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of music.
We're very oversaturated with music nowadays. We get a lot of music.
Honestly, I don't mind if an artist waits like 2-3 years to drop an album. If they're dropping like little singles and little features here, I don't mind that. That's okay. But like, one thing I do have a problem with is like, I have a problem with Travis Scott. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a problem with Travis Scott. I have a problem with that guy, man.
Go ahead.
I have a problem with him. Like, okay, I understand Travis Scott. He's on like a different level now in terms of his star potential. He's on a way different level now, but I feel like the music is not keeping up with it. Like he's not dropped. Like he's dropped. I liked White Tea. That was a cool song. I liked Highest in the Room, but like I haven't even heard anything about Utopia. It's been 3 years and like what, a month now? 3 years, because he dropped Astroworld in August of 2018, so it's been 3 years and like a month now.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And we haven't heard anything about it. Like nothing. So it's like, I don't know. The music is just not that. That's like the only thing I have a problem with. Like when artists, they just like, I don't know, kind of just like sidetrack the music, you know. But hey, man, I get
what you're saying, but at the same time, like you said, he's starting to like turn himself into a brand. He's trying to put himself on a whole nother level, and like, I don't think that it's bad. I think it's good for artists to branch out. Oops, sorry.
That's cool.
My chair made a little beep. Yeah, I think it's important for artists to branch out and diversify their just like how I think it's important for content creators to not always stay on one platform, it's important for artists to diversify their sources of revenue as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, that's what I'm saying. I have no problem with the stuff that he's doing outside of music. Like, I think it's all cool and it's necessary because
There's only so many hours in a day, though, bro.
Yeah, I understand, but it's been 3 years, bro. It's been 3 years.
You only do so much, bro. Utopia's coming, baby.
That's what I'm saying.
I
understand, bro, and I like it because the thing is, Travis Scott is not the type of artist that would usually be getting looks like these. We need artists like Travis Scott to break down that societal barrier of like someone being on TV and it's not like what you expect. Like Drake is someone that is like media ready. You don't look at Travis Scott and as someone that is like media ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that he's breaking down those barriers and he has the McDonald's meal and he's on all these late night shows and he's what else is he? He's doing a collab with Dior and I like all of it. It's just, bro, you said you have this album in mind. Don't forget about the album. Like, bro, just don't forget about the album. That's the only problem I have with it. I don't have a problem with what he's doing. But yeah.
Yeah, for the most part I agree with that. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. But any other music that you are listening to other than the music that we had talked about?
Yo, that has been the focus for the past like 2 weeks is really sitting here and digesting these 4 albums because it's a lot of music. Mm-hmm. In other breaking music news, though, I just seen this because I happen to have Twitter open on another tab.
What happened?
Cardi B's having another youth, fam.
Are you serious?
Just announced the birth of her second child.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Wow, that's good. That's nice.
So congratulations to her.
Oh, speaking of Cardi, the other Cardi,
Playboy?
Yeah, he's supposed to be dropping something on the 13th. It's called Narcissist. I don't know if it's a song or if it's a single. I don't know if it's a song or an album, my bad. But he did announce tour dates for it. So it could actually be an album. We don't know.
I don't think it would be a full album. It would probably be an EP.
Yeah, it could be an EP as well. Yeah, we don't know what it is. But he said there is something called Narcissist that is dropping next week. So be on the look for that. Yeah, that's all I've been listening to as well, is just these few albums, just trying to digest them.
Yeah, I've really just been trying to sit here and really figure out what I like and don't like about these projects, because it's so much, and it's so much music to try and be so critical and listen so intently to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of time has been spent just dissecting them, diving in. Getting into the pop culture section of the show, we have OnlyFans. They're
back at it again, but not for the reason that you may think.
That's what I'm saying. It's very interesting. Quick 180. OnlyFans, they are now walking back their stance regarding adult content on their platform. This came only 4 days later from their initial announcement of the removal of the adult content on OnlyFans. So it seems like
literally just after we uploaded the podcast, they walked back their statement.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I don't like. I'm telling you, it's wild. News moves really quickly, but I guess they had come to their senses. I guess they realized that this is the proverbial bread and butter of their platform, and they have now said that they're not doing any of the removals, they're not doing any of the bans. So
they said that they got funding is what happened.
Oh, okay.
They said that they said that they were able to secure funding and not because the other problem was that payment options were going to stop. Like Visa and MasterCard were saying that they were going to stop rocking with them.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to work out a deal in that situation as well.
Bro, like they should honestly do what I said last podcast. They should actually do it. Like look into accepting like stable coins like USDT or USDC. Look into accepting stable coins, have that be the currency that you accept, because literally all you have to do is they just set up some sort of arrangement with some sort of like crypto exchange. They give them crypto like stable coins, because it's like stable coins pretty much they stay to $1 they don't fluctuate, so it's always $1. So they could have just done that, and they could have circumvented the whole payment processing problem that they were coming into. And plus there would be no chargebacks as well, because you can't charge back crypto. Like once it goes through, it goes through.
Yes, but that would turn OnlyFans from what is a $2 billion a year industry, because they pulled in over $2 billion in revenue last year. That would turn it from a cash business to a crypto business.
I wouldn't say turn them into crypto. They just accept the payment.
You're changing the payment option. The issue was that Visa and MasterCard were gonna not let them use Visa and MasterCard payments.
Yeah, but like,
so you're saying that to circumvent that, they would accept crypto, which would mean that crypto would be the only way to pay for stuff on OnlyFans, which turns you into a crypto business, whether it's stablecoin or not. They're currently raking in over $2 billion a year in cash from people's money, like actual wallets.
Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah.
Tangible, like utility right now.
Mm-hmm. Did they figure out a way to, I guess, work with the payment processors? Like, what?
Yes, from what I understand, that they worked out some sort of agreement. That's why they're not canceling, like they're not canceling the content anymore. From what I understand. That's the real reason. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that
they care about the creators.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah. I've seen mixed reaction on social media, as usually topics like these would have. So the one half is saying, you walked all this back, you scared us, you pretty much betrayed us, and as soon as the first opportunity came back to show to where you could get us back, you did. So it's like, you don't really care about the creators, you only care about your pockets. So I've seen that aspect. I remember there was even one girl I watched it on the Philip DeFranco show. There was one girl that said OnlyFans is literally her only source of income, which is...
Oh, I know who you're talking about. That's I was doing her makeup?
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to even say, as it is. OnlyFans is your only source of income. But I digress. So there are people that feel betrayed. But they'll probably go back to the platform because that's where their fan base is, and you know, it's a lot easier than having to try and look for another platform that will accept you and then move your fan base over there. So there's that, and then there's the other side that's like, okay, well, you know, they kind of came to their senses, and you know, it's business as usual, and we'll just keep rocking with it because the platform works for us. So it's interesting to see the reception. How do you feel about this, Enigma?
I think that you touched on all the important points, and I agree with you for the most part that it's basically just them. I think that the general like public reception of they don't really care about the creators and they're just doing this to satisfy themselves is true. But like you know this, like you knew this from beforehand, or else they would have never made the announcement to get rid of adult content in the first place. It was always about the company. It was never about the creators. And I will say that they need to, like, the creators and people who use OnlyFans as a source of income need to understand that this is a private company and they will do whatever they want. So if they so choose to, like, because OnlyFans didn't start out promoting itself as a pornography business. It never has. It never has promoted itself as a pornography business.
Yeah.
It's just those are the types of people that gravitated towards the site because it was a safe place for them to take control of their own adult content, which I understand the value in, and I'm totally there for you on that sense. But this private company is able to do whatever they want, and if they want to take advantage of the position that you put them in, they're going to. So that's why you should always diversify, like we were talking about earlier. Content creators, musicians, whatever it is, always diversify your sources of income because anything can be pulled out from under you at any moment.
That's kind of the whole gist of this story that I got. One thing I don't understand, like in the instance of the girl that said OnlyFans is her only source of income. If you're making a decent amount of money, like, take OnlyFans out of it. If you work a job and you make $50,000 to $60,000 a year and you live like you make $45,000 a year, do you not invest some of that money into something else that can make more money?
Most people don't. That's the crazy thing.
It's like it's just such a weird, and especially in an industry like sex work where it's very fast. Like
it's here today, gone tomorrow.
Exactly.
You're 28 before you know it.
How could not even that? Like people just get okay. Here, I'll say it like this. I'll try and say it in the most friendly way that I can. The people that sex work is marketed to, they get tired of seeing the same thing over and over and over again.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Eventually they're going to want to see a new girl or something.
Yeah, the statement is there's a new girl turning 21 every day.
Exactly.
I think the actual phrase is 18, but that's a little like weird. So we make it 21 now.
Yeah.
There's a new girl turning 21 every day.
It's like
basically, yeah, those types of people who pay for sex work content and like actually sustain the business, the whales of that business, it's very here today, gone tomorrow. I get what you mean.
Exactly, because like, yeah, you may have like a good fan base of 5,000 to 6,000 people that subscribe to you every month. But what happens when some new popular girl pops up on Twitter and she says, "Hey, I'm making OnlyFans. Come sub to my OnlyFans." Do you think you're going to keep every single one of those subscribers? And then you have to add on top of that, people also get tired of seeing your content. So it's like this is a very fast-paced industry. Anything that's entertainment is very fast-paced. So if you don't have a plan, like if you don't have some sort of exit strategy, like look at Mia Khalifa. People hate on Mia Khalifa all the time, but Mia Khalifa was smart. She had an exit strategy. No. What happened?
Do not say that. No.
What happened?
Mia Khalifa got forced into the sex industry.
Oh, okay.
Mia Khalifa was forced to do porn, blackmailed into it, and then only was able to get out of it because people had all that backlash about the hijabi thing.
Oh no!
Mia Khalifa never wanted to do porn.
Yeah, I'm not talking about her actual.
It wasn't an exit strategy. She got.
It wasn't.
That she got out. No, she was being manipulated and like basically, Blue hair Twitter's gonna come for you. That's why I'm trying to help you right now.
No, I'm just saying the way that she transitioned.
I know what you meant.
Is good.
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say
I don't
Blue
know.
hair
Yeah,
Twitter.
exactly.
I don't want Blue hair Twitter to come for my boy. Okay.
Yeah, hey man, I'm giving her praise. I'm giving her praise, bro. I'm giving her praise. Like she would, like, the way that she handled everything. I don't know the exact details, as Enigma's saying. I don't know the exact details, but the way that she's handling it, even through all the hate and backlash that she's getting from other people, because she was on a show with Complex, and like people were always like
down.
School.
She was on a whole bunch of stuff, even like
exactly,
media.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate because she can never escape the stigma of porn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
and that's the problem with doing sex work.
You gotta
never escape the stigma.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I don't think you'll ever be able to, like, just work a job where, like, no one knows you, or like your history is not brought up. Like, I don't know. It's a very, like, it's an industry where, like, you're married to it. Once you're in it, there's like no real escaping the past that you had.
Yeah, either you're a nobody and you're not gonna make like a significant amount of money, or you actually blow up and now everybody for the rest of your life, as long as you're alive, will know you for that.
Exactly. Yeah. So have like I don't know. It's alarming. It's very alarming to me. Oh my gosh, bro.
This guy is crazy. Popular.
Holy crud. But yeah, it's just very alarming to me. I don't know how much that girl makes, but I'm guessing she sounds like she's one of the bigger creators on there. So, you know, just branch out, make a YouTube channel, like start streaming on Twitch, start doing something.
Let me ask you this as a rebuttal. How do you branch out when your product is sex work? Like, how do you branch out and not still do sex work? Because people aren't coming to watch you for you being talented at any given thing. So trying to get into any other form of like social media and stuff, people aren't coming to watch you because they like your cooking tutorials. People aren't coming to watch you because they like what they want to hear what you have to say on an opinion. They're coming to watch you because they like to see like
they like to see how you look. Okay.
So I agree that you should branch out into and try to like put content on other platforms, but I can also see how for sex workers it's not as lucrative for them as like if you're a Twitch streamer and you start like branching out into YouTube, for example, that's easy because you're just uploading your stream highlights, and people who couldn't watch the Twitch stream or don't want to get on Twitch are able to still see that. It's a similar type of content, but you can't just put your butt ass, like your naked ass, on YouTube, you know? You gotta go on PH for that.
I understand that gripe, but the thing is, you still try. Exactly, you have to build things over time. There's a prawn star on Twitch. I forget her name, but bro, when I seen her on there. She was, because the only reason I know who she is because I seen that she said it, and I remember when she first started streaming, she was probably, like, when I was in there, she had like maybe like 200 people in there, but now she's getting like 2,000-3,000 people every stream, and she has like a good amount of subs. Like, you like, Rome was not built in a day. Like, I understand it might be hard, but like, you have to try. Walmart was not built in a year. Amazon was not built in a year. Like, it took decades and continual effort and energy and resources spent to build it. So for you to diversify, what I would say is just like put time into it, put effort into it. You can't be an OnlyFans girl and think that that's gonna last you for the next 5 years. It just won't. It won't. If we're being honest, like that's an industry where it's like it's very fast paced, and the money you get it, and once you get it, it's like, you know.
Yeah, it's very here today, gone
exactly. Tomorrow type. Yeah. So I mean, shout out to all the OnlyFans girls that are doing it big and making their money, because that's like, it's a safe place to do what you want to do, but like, have an exit strategy, have something planned, diversify.
Okay, because here's what I will give them, and this is more of like ridicule against OnlyFans rather than anything else. But like the attempt to remove sex work from the platform was very detrimental because sex work in general is very predatory.
Yeah.
And so if you like go to a porn agency or something, I should have said prawn, whatever.
It's whatever.
You get me. If you go to an agency or something to start shooting, you're going to enter a contract. They're going to take X amount of percentage, yada, yada, yada. The nice thing about OnlyFans is that you can create your own content and publish your content to your own page and receive 100% of the revenue from it.
Don't they take like a little bit off the top? I think they take like, what is it, 10 or 15% or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. But that's still good. You're getting like 85%. Bro, Twitch is 50-50. Twitch literally takes half the money you make from a sub, and then you have to pay taxes on it too. Like, that's a good deal.
I know.
That's a very good deal, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it is a safe place for them to make the content they want to make. But like at the same time, just realize like everything is fleeting. Yeah, it's temporary, man. You know. But yeah, shout out to the OnlyFans girls. I can't say I love you, you know, because
yeah. I got you.
Exactly, you know. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
No worries, I get it. Shout out to the OnlyFans girls. We respect what you do out here. We rate your hustle, but also we don't pay for content. Out
Facts.
Here. The hub is free.
Facts. Get to the money, man. Get to the money. I respect it. We'll touch on it lightly. Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, they got in a fight. The fight was okay. It wasn't anything to really even talk about because like Jake went 8 rounds, but Tyron Woodley had like multiple chances to knock him out. So it's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna talk on that briefly, Tyron Woodley just chose not to close because he wanted to be a patient fighter instead. Yep. He definitely should have just gotten in there when he had Jake on the ropes and just knocked this guy out.
Yep.
Because there were so many opportunities to do so. But I mean, I'm not a professional fighter, so it's my opinion against it.
Yeah, true. I wasn't in the ring with him. I wasn't his coach, so. But I mean, from what I saw, he looked like he definitely had a lot of chances to knock him out and win the fight. But it's whatever. Apparently, he's gonna get a tattoo to fight him again. But
like, don't even get the tattoo because Jake's not gonna fight you again.
Exactly.
He doesn't have to. He already won.
Yeah, it's a waste of time at this point. But yeah, that was the Jake Paul fight. Anything else to talk about before we go ahead and wrap up this show?
Today has been a long episode. We had a lot to say about the conversation surrounding music this week. Because Donda and CLB were really big drops, and I think that on the next episode of the podcast, even if, like, regardless of whatever other music comes out, we're probably going to revisit at least one, if not both of these albums and talk about how we feel now, like, that time has passed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think...
So, the conversation's definitely going to be had.
Yeah, because by that time, it'll be, like a month. So...
Almost, yeah.
A lot of time to sit with it. A lot of time. So, yeah. Thank you to everyone that listened to episode 10. Big episode 10 of Rama's
Yeah, we know
Radio.
It was a big chunky wongy. It was really a thick boy today, but
that's what I'm saying.
We had a lot of opinions to get through, and we definitely had to share our hot takes.
Amen. We're looking forwards towards episode 50. You know, that's the next milestone, I guess you could say. Episode 50.
Bro, we're 10 episodes in. My next milestone is like 20, bro. 20, I'm gonna celebrate.
It's always 10, 50, 100. Those are the big milestones. Those are always the big milestones. Episode 20 gonna be cool, but it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be like episode 10.
If we make it to 50 episodes, I'm gonna throw a party. Don't worry.
If we make it to 50 episodes, honestly, by that time, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think this show will be a lot bigger.
It'll have to be if we make it that far. Yeah, we would hope so.
Yep.
You know what that means? You gotta share this to your friends.
True. True. Share the pod. With friends. Go ahead, listen to it on Spotify. Listen to it on YouTube. Drop your comments. Leave likes. The whole nine. But it's Ramez. Everything is it's Ramez. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, IG, Enigma. Go ahead, shout out your handles.
You already know, it's your boy, Under the Enigma 9. We at Undead Enigma 9 on everything except Twitter, but if you look up Undead Enigma 9, you'll find me, but it's at Sequoia, same to same
True.
difference. And thank you to everybody for tuning into this episode. Like we said earlier, it's been a long recording. We had a lot of hot takes, and I hope that means that we're going to see a lot of your comments in the comment section of the YouTube version of this podcast.
Yeah, I feel like there might be some good discussion, but yeah, thank you to everyone that listened. Appreciate you guys. Podcast people, podcast universe. This has been Ramez Radio episode 10. We are checking in and we are checking out. Peace.